G'day, ladies and gentlemen. How are we going? Big sips to all you lovely people out there. It's been a few weeks since we've had a good drink. How are we? Hey, Jake, how are you, mate? We seem to be experiencing technical difficulties with Facebook as usual. There always seems to be something wrong with Facebook. I've got it working on one channel, but not another. Oh, hang on. No, it looks like it's working now. Okay, cool. I think this looks like it's functioning. Okay, cool. I think we might have just got that going in the last minute. I'm not sure. It does seem all right. Cool. That's working now. Cool. How are we all? It's been a while. 3 weeks. I don't feel like I've had much time off. I feel like it was just yesterday that I was here talking to all you wonderful people. We've got quite a bit to get through today. We've got some amazing guests. We were just talking to Dave Armstrong before, and it's been since November 2023 since he's been on the podcast. So good to have him back. Let's bring him into the show. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me back.
Not a problem, man. I can't believe it's been so long. You know, we'll have to catch up for drinks more often.
I think so. You'll have to come down to the festival and then we can have a drink down there. How's that sound?
That sounds like a plan, man. I'll see what I can do to get some time off to get down there. It's still in the works. I would definitely like to make it down there. Speaking of festival, how do people sort of let's get a quick intro as to what the festival is, when it's happening. I do know you've got some promo materials. We might even play one of these videos here as well, but I'll let you give us a quick intro as to what it is and what's going on.
Yeah, well, we ran the first one last year, same sort of time of year, which was amazing. We had international guests, musicians, stalls, food vendors, all that sort of thing. And the same this year, but we've gone bigger. So more people packed in, lots of workshops, some amazing musicians, and a bunch of international speakers. And yeah, so it's just jam-packed. So the theme this year is Exit the Rabbit Hole, or Exiting the Rabbit Hole. So we've all been down every rabbit hole there is. And what now? What are we going to do? What's next? And so it's really about trying to bring the builders together and start to talk about that. So that's really the theme. So everyone that's coming, we've got biodynamic farmers, we've got syntropic farmers, we've got a whole bunch of health people from all different modalities, lawful people, a whole range of different things, hidden histories type stuff. There's how to do dowsing rods and portals and ley lines, and just all amazing topics that are all about trying to work out what's the next thing. What are we going to do in this world, and what are we personally going to bring to this world in that next stage?
That seems like a great idea. I think it's the $1 million question at the moment, man, is like, where do we go? What do we do at this particular point? Yeah, I feel like we're kind of just throwing stuff at the world and seeing what sticks in a lot of ways. Obviously, we'll give it a quick promo here. This is the website for the tickets if people are interested, www.livingfreefestival.org, and you can use the promo code BADDY. Is there something they get with that? Sorry, we didn't get a chance to discuss that. Sorry.
Yeah, so they get a discount on their tickets.
Yep.
And so pop that promo code in there, and we'll make sure that you get a discount on those tickets. So the dates are the 22nd to 24th of August, so it's only a couple of weeks away. So coming up quick. And this year's set to be amazing. So it's in the Pillar Valley in New South Wales. So you can fly into Gold Coast if you need to and drive down from there. Lots of people are doing lifts and that sort of thing as well. But yeah, that's the amazing location that we had last year, and there's something special about it, and there will be again this year, I think, with what we're bringing forward.
So it's the exact same location, same sort of stage setup, and I believe it's a camping sort of a setup. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we've got 3 stages this year. Last year we had 2, so we've got a lot more packed in there. A lot more workshops, where last year it was more talks and musicians as the primary thing, and a couple of workshops. This year there's a lot more workshops. So, we've had to have that extra stage as well. Lots of things for the kids to do as well. So lots of sort of fun activities for them to get involved in. There's a jam-packed schedule. If you have a look at the schedule up the top there, you'll see how busy it is and how much we've sort of been able to jam in there. But it's an amazing lineup. One of the people that we've got coming up, Sean Kirk, he's one of the musicians who's playing there. He's over in the UK at the moment. But a bunch of amazing musicians, and it's really about just also having fun and connecting with like-minded people, which I feel like it's in a bit of need. We need to get together and fill up the cup again, and get ready for what else is sort of coming. And this is a great sort of event where you can do that. And the energy last year, people just talked about this buzzing feeling. It was just a high vibrational sort of thing, and it's very hard to explain for people who aren't used to it. It's a non-alcoholic, non-drug sort of event where it's all focused on solutions and bringing people together in community. And it's amazing what you can do when you're on that natural high and have great conversations and bring everyone together.
Wow. Looking at the schedule, there is a lot on, hey? So winding up at 1 o'clock on the Sunday.
That's that stage, but it actually finishes 3 o'clock on the Sunday. So main stage.
Oh, yep. Sorry. Yep, the amphitheater. Yep. I'm see high trees and band. Yep, cool. Right. Okay. I'm making sense of this schedule now. Cool.
Yeah. So 3 stages, yeah, cool. and jam packed. So on each morning. So on the Saturday morning. So there's camping and non-camping tickets available. And there's family tickets and discounts and that sort of thing as well. But on the morning of the Saturday morning, we've got a 2.5-hour breathwork workshop with a guy called Andrew Ginoffici, I think. Trying to pronounce his name, but he's over from the US.
Did you say Saturday, was it, or Sunday? Sorry.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning.
So starting at 8 a.m. So main stage Saturday morning.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
There.
So dimensional breathwork journey. So that's going to be pretty crazy for those that enjoy that sort of thing. On the Sunday morning,
2.5-hour breathwork session. That's a big one.
Yeah. So he's a pretty popular guy who gets around the world, does his stuff. On the Sunday, we've got a sound healing one to kick off the morning, and then there's workshops basically packed all the way through. There's dancing, there's speed meets to catch up and meet different people. Lots of kids sort of stuff as well. So it's it's pretty amazing, all the people that have come forward to be a part of it.
Wow. Was there a huge turnout from the young people, kids turning up last year? Yeah,
there was about 100 kids last year.
Oh, wow.
And that was pretty awesome to see. My kids were there. There was something really authentic about it, like when we grew up. There was like this freedom of like the kids were playing in the dam and painting each other with mud, and there was like a rowboat where they're taking each other out in turns, and then there's circus play, and there's all that sort of thing. And it was just awesome to see all these kids just getting on well and being kids, like just having that freedom to do that. And it was pretty magical just looking at that just alone. Like I was just stoked to have my kids there and for them to experience it, and they've been talking about it ever since. So that's half the reason I have to put this one on this year, is that I get pressure right throughout the year that when's the next one coming up, Dad? So we had to drive all the way up from Melbourne for this to put it on. So it's a bit of a journey for us as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a long drive from all the way up here in Townsville, that's for sure. But we'll see what I can do to sort something out to make my way down there. You mentioned Sean, and we've got Sean here waiting in the back room. We might bring Sean in. G'day, mate. How are you? And you're muted. You need to unmute your mic, buddy.
My bad.
There we are.
Yeah,
No, you're all right, mate. How are you?
Good to be here. It's good to be hanging out. I'm just excuse if there's any like background noise. I'm in a cafe at the moment in Brighton in the UK. So
rightio, no worries.
Just let me know. That's why I muted the mic, but hopefully it'll all be fine.
No worries, man. Awesome. So all the way in the UK, what time is it over there at the moment?
It is 11 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, no worries. So that's not too bad. We haven't got you at 3 in the morning or some ridiculous time.
No.
No, cool. Appreciate you making the effort to visit us all the way from the UK to say g'day. So obviously you'll be flying back to New South Wales at some point to join in the festival.
Yeah, I literally fly straight from the UK to the festival, so it's,
wow.
It's non-stop, and then I think after that I pretty much fly straight to, I think, I was discussing with Dave earlier, like how long I'm going to go home for, but it won't be long, and then I go straight to New Zealand for a month. So yeah, it's busy times, but it's good. I'm really looking forward to the festival.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be heaps of fun. What day are you on stage, mate?
I'll be on stage Saturday night. I can't remember the time. We'd have to look at the schedule, but I think I'm on after Kyle Lionheart, who I highly recommend everyone come down to catch. He's amazing songwriter, incredible voice, and just really well-rounded musician and performer.
Nice. So you're obviously in the music sort of vibe. What kind of tunes you pumping out, mate?
I do like a one-man like blues soul kind of show, I guess you'd call it, and I guess there's elements of rock, but I do this big kind of elaborate setup where I've got all these drums at my feet. I'm playing like 6 different drums at my feet whilst I'm playing the guitar, and I'm playing the harmonica, and I'm singing, and then it's pretty interactive with the audience as well. So I get the audience involved, and we have a good time.
Wow. Sounds like a sight to be seen there, man.
Yeah.
And you were saying just before that you were up here in Townsville and nobody told me.
Yeah. What's with that?
I don't know. We're going to have to keep in touch, make sure next time you're in town, I'm down there to have a beer with you or something, buddy.
Yeah, man. I love that. I played at the Herbert Hotel a while back. You know what I loved about Townsville? I found this amazing record store in Townsville.
Is the one in the city there, yeah?
Yeah, it might have just been called Townsville Records or something, but I'm an avid record collector for many years now, and so I'm always on the lookout when I go to these places, and found a record store in Townsville, like an amazing record store with like it's unheard of to go to a record store with like 50 Elvis records in it or something like that, and this place had it, so it was like in Townsville of all places. Yeah.
I've heard about it myself. I haven't had a chance to go and check it out. So that sounds like a good enough recommendation to go and find the store. Somebody was telling me about it a few weeks ago, actually.
And the owner's name was Sean as well. So I was just like, yeah.
Hitting it off straight away, mate. Hitting it off.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how long have you been performing for, mate?
I've been doing the music gig for 15 years full time now. Managed to kind of survive through all the COVID chaos and come out the other end still as a full-time musician. So I was really lucky in that regard. Just in more recent times, kind of taking things to a more kind of international stage, and it's been great. I just did my first ever show in London the other night, and I did Brighton last night, and they both went really well. And there was people in the crowd, like decent amount of people in the crowd, so I was stoked. Sometimes when you do those first tours somewhere, there's 5 or 6 people in the crowd, and you kind of go, oh man, this is going to be heavy work. But so far it's been great.
Yeah.
Hey, Batty, you'd love to hear. So Sean, over the COVID stuff, he went a bit viral because he basically said that he's not going to play at any venues that do the check and don't let you in based on your vaccine status, and that was he sort of blew up overnight with that post, but interesting sort of aspect as well. So
wow.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how that all went down, man. Like you're a musician before convids rolled in and you've made this stance. Tell us a little bit about why and how it all unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was kind of like, I just got to a point where I realized the kind of, that we were kind of, repeating history. It wasn't anything that we'd never seen before. This kind of stuff had gone down in the, 40s, 50s, and 60s through that kind of like black segregation era with a lot of my heroes, and I'm sitting there watching all these musicians, which, I totally understand. Like, musicians, anyone in events had their kind of livelihoods ripped out from underneath them all of a sudden, and we're just kind of desperate to just get back out there and get some cash flow happening so they could pay their bills, which I can totally empathize with. But something in me was just, just wouldn't, it didn't sit well with me. And so I'm not even really too sure why I decided to kind of like put that post out there. It was really just a spur of the moment thing, maybe just venting some frustration or something. But, I remember at the time just being like, all right, well, this is it. Here goes my career. Like, this is kind of, there's no coming back now, but I'm going to do it anyway. And the total opposite happened. Like, it just went absolutely viral, and within the space of a few days, it had been shared like 20,000 times around the world or something. So I think people were just stoked to see a musician actually kind of saying what they were thinking as well. Like, they're seeing all these bands that have preached, about, the system and all that kind of thing for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden they're just kind of going along with this thing that's so divisive and just inhumane.
Yeah, it was shocking, particularly say like Rage Against the Machine, to see them, say "fuck you, I'll do what you tell me," instead of "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me."
Yeah.
That blew me away.
Did they actually do a skit like that or something? Did they?
No, that's my parody of their thing. But they basically did say that we're going along with this sort of thing, and that they were quizzed, into that vein. Your previous material said "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," and you're encouraging people to go along with it. And they were, "Oh, we were wrong. We were just young in those days." And I was like, "Wow, what did they say to Rage Against the Machine to get them to flip like that?" Is one of the questions I asked. Or were they really that much on board? Did they, like so many people, surprisingly succumb to fear? That's the only thing I can really put it down to. Like, obviously you yourself and everyone else here didn't sort of buy into it. And to me, when I talk to people and try to get to the why did they or didn't they go, to me, fear seemed to be the driving factor. If they were afraid that they were going to kill their family or something, or they themselves were going to die, then they conformed.
Which, like I said, like I emphasize with those musicians that were just kind of going along with it, and I think majority of them, from conversations I've had since, have kind of learnt the lesson and realized that, should that situation present itself again, they'd probably act a little differently.
Wow, time will tell, because I dare say they will give it another crack.
Who knows? We'll be much better prepared if they do this time. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think they will be too, with pandemic treaties and all this other shit that they're planning to get into motion. And obviously, with the help of AI and various other technologies that they're developing, I think it's going to be a hard slog one way or the other. But I guess we'll rise above it the best we can. We got through it last time; we can do it again.
That's right. Like, I think with these things, how many times have we been challenged throughout humanity, and people always prevail. Something about the human spirit kind of kicks in, and sometimes it takes a while, but I think people generally they do see through the bullshit eventually, and start. And I just think if something else happens, you'll just see more people rising up and taking a bit of a stance.
So, Batty, the other interesting thing that Sean's witnessed a lot as well is the big attack on festivals that they're trying to shut them down. And lots of festivals have been shut down in this last, probably, 18 months, Sean?
Yeah.
There's been stacks of them.
Yeah, I could probably think of, I could probably put at least two, all my fingers together of the ones just off the top of my head. But yeah, there's a lot going down at the moment. I think just due to just the crazy overreach from local councils and stuff like that, and, red tape. It's just putting so much pressure on these festivals that they almost have no choice but to just kind of say, well, we can't do it.
There was one in Melbourne, Batty, a few months ago that had 3,500 people. It might have even been more, but they shut it down on the day. And so over 1,500 people turned up at the gate, already charged, ready to go in, got dropped off, and then they couldn't let them in. They threatened them that they were going to take their property and throw them in jail if they opened up the gates. So you actually ended up with a really unsafe environment because everyone was out front. One time they had to all camp next to the road, and just an absolute disaster. And they didn't even tell them why. So this is why the whole thing.
That was my next question.
Yes, so asking for permission, mate. This is where it all comes down to, is that we're not doing all the permission stuff. We run our own private event, private land, have private agreements. You understand all this stuff in how to operate in the private. We have our own private security. We do it, and it's a demonstration of what can be done. Yeah. But this is what we're up against, because when you ask for permission, you can get the answer that you don't want, and you could get it the day before or the day of, which is what happened with this group, and that sort of thing. I mean, the amount of money that goes into these events to put them on, and then to be shut down on the day and have to try to refund everyone, and you've still got all those expenses. That's pretty hard to recover. Yeah,
it's going to be economically crippling.
And I know some other events, they've got pricing from the police and different services to have them on site. They're charging like $200,000. Wow. And they want, if there's a creek, a river there, or a dam there, they want to put their police boat on there. They want to have a barbecue for the police. This is all written up. This is all the things they have to tick to be able to have them there. And
the police that are meant, exactly, yeah. That are meant to be covered by taxes, payments and stuff like that.
So, that's just crippling these events, and they don't want us to gather, which is kind of why we need to gather. Because the way I see it, any time they tell us not to do something, that's the opposite of what we should be doing.
Definitely.
And so gathering and having that community and that energy, they don't want that, especially the topics that we cover. Especially when we go into private trusts and we go into, how to actually take accountability and stuff for your life and grow your own food and not. So it's a really important gathering from that point of view, and showing that resistance to what their agenda is, and shutting all these gatherings down. But of course, the ones that are attached to those bigger conglomerate groups, they seem to be all fine to keep going through. So as long as
the council run ones, there's lots of council run ones out there that I'll do every now and then, and they're so bland. They're so bland. Like I almost I'm at the point where I'm almost like, they're just not even worth me doing them, because it's almost soul destroying sometimes turning up to these things. But you see the people that show up, and if I can be some kind of messenger, it's I was on the ABC the other week, and they asked me, what question they asked me? They asked me about the weather or something like that, and I kind of just shot them down, and they quickly changed the subject and everything. But I just figure that maybe that's my role, just to kind of I can get into these places and kind of disrupt them a bit. So, I'll generally say something at one of these festivals or something like that, and sometimes it's awkward as all hell, and everyone there who's kind of just ultra lefty or something look at me a bit weird, but I'm happy to kind of be that guy. It's all good.
Yeah, you got it.
I don't think I'm actually trying to hurt anyone. I'm just trying to be real with people.
So people have got to have their views challenged, I think, and you need to be in a safe space to have a point of view. There's possibly something wrong with your point of view.
Yeah, that's right. And I was going to say, like, there's still a lot of work to do in terms of these festivals shutting down and stuff, because I've talked to festival directors and people involved with these events and stuff like that about what we're doing at Living Free, and they just can't get their head around it. Like they're just so attached to mummy and daddy that like they just can't figure it out yet. But I think we just got to keep on just demonstrating the behaviour, I guess, and then hope that people clue on eventually.
Coming back to what you were saying earlier, you've dropped this post and you found that it was actually pretty beneficial towards your career. You thought it was going to be the end. What kind of feedback were you getting from people and the community abroad when you dropped that bomb?
It was pretty overwhelming. Like I was just getting bombarded with DMs about people's stories, mainly like the shit that they'd been through, just the crazy heartache that they kind of endured, losing jobs and losing families and all kinds of things. So that was pretty heavy to kind of take on, and just have that coming in left, right, and center to my DMs. But majority of it was just like, thank you for saying something.
Nice.
Just lots of people just, and then every now and then there was some kind of negative comment, and I almost just didn't even have to respond in the end, because just people just jump in there and kind of fend them off, But I kind of went in that with this kind of mindset of like, I'm not going to like bite back at these people that are biting at me. I'm just going to kind of give them some love. I was actually just responding with like, I wish you nothing but happiness. And then, funny enough, I reckon probably 7 or 8 times out of 10, soon I'd get a DM from them apologizing for their behavior. So I think there's something really powerful to not biting back, but just kind of saying like, I see you, and I respect you nonetheless. But I'm not going to get involved in like a bickering argument online. Like it's just ridiculous.
It seems that a lot of people seem to thrive off that negativity. They want you to fire back in that regard.
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they love it.
I see it a lot with the trolls here every now and then. Actually, the trolls have kind of given up. I think they got sick of me thanking them for letting me know that I was doing a great job.
Exactly. Yeah. I think when you respond with a positive, it just kind of shuts off that attack straight away.
When you got trolls, you've built a beautiful bridge, and they all want to come and live under it. But the party's much better on top of the bridge. You don't have to live under it.
Totally.
So, yeah. So I noticed we've got a little video here. I thought we might do a little bit of an interlude and play one of your promo videos, if that's all right with you guys.
Along the highway, speeding drivers rolling by as I continue.
Nice, looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's such a great location that that Dave and the team have found out there in Bull Valley. It's pretty beautiful.
So you're saying it's private property, Dave. So obviously somebody owns this and they're on board with what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. They're absolute legends down there. They're couldn't ask for a better team to work with, both like internally and then that extended team. Everyone just got on board, and I mean, just to put in perspective, they already had a little stage area. And when we turned up to have a look, we just went, like we couldn't put in the proper flooring and sort of have it as an elevated stage. And we're like, oh, we're probably going to have to get a truck stage in, and that's going to cost, a bunch of money, and it's going to look out of place for this site because everything's, rock and timber and all carved things, and it's just amazing. And I just said to him, look, to the owner, I said, I know this sounds a bit crazy, but if I have to spend money on a truck stage to come in, is there any chance I could give you that money and you raise the roof on this one? And he was just like, he sat there and he looked at me for a while, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. And literally, like, they built brand new things, cut down trees, carved it all, built this, massive big roof so that we could then raise the stage. And so, from last year, we put money back in for this year, and they've done a whole bunch of works, put extra toilets in, cut extra roads in for us. So we've just been investing back into the property, and they're just the best people to work with. So, they're it's on about 350 acres, the whole property. And it's so once we get everyone off, there's plenty of camping places and that sort of thing. And these guys have put in hot water for us this year, which we didn't have last year. We had solar heating, and so the first 5 people in the morning got a lukewarm shower, and the rest of the day it was pretty cool. So this year we've upgraded to hot water showers, which is a big step.
Yep.
And put an extra stage in for us for this year, which is pretty cool. And a whole bunch of stuff. But they're amazing crew down there, and I think that's the secret, is bringing that lawful sort of knowledge into a like-minded sort of group, and then working together on that sort of stuff. And then we're really fortunate, like the team that we put together. Well, Sean was one of our members at Living Free Movement, but one of our other members was they're involved in major events. Like, they've done events with 500,000 people. Their full-time gig for the last 30 years is putting on major events around the world. And so I just spoke to them one time at this picnic, and I said, wouldn't it be good if we could do something like what you guys do and bring it to the freedom aspect? And little did I know that this person actually came up to that picnic to plant that seed in my head. So I thought I was coming up with this fantastic new idea, but she was already ahead of me in this idea. But so we sort of chatted probably 12 months after, and I said, I think it's time that we do something. I just feel like we need to get together. We need to have that personal connection. And so we've got actually like an elite team that do this all the time behind the scenes. And most of those guys are all volunteers. So we're just so blessed to have an amazing like-minded group. Even the musicians last year, they came, we ended up being able to do something for them because we were able to sell enough tickets. But to start off with, they came in, and volunteered their time just to be a part of it. And then we're able to end up paying for studio time and, other things for them as part of a thank you afterwards. But that's really what it is. It's a non-for-profit event. We don't make money from this, but a lot of what we do is just give back to, the property, to the musicians, to whatever we can do. And that's really special. There's something about people coming and bringing their talents, whatever that could be. And, you've got a bunch of people who volunteer for the event as well, who come, some even buy tickets and volunteer. So we've often give tickets away, but some just love to be a part of the inner circles of doing that. And usually their request will be, I just want to see this speaker. Can you just make sure my shift doesn't go over this one? But, we're very blessed in that way. And to be honest, that's really what's needed, because to put on a quality event, and, you're only talking small numbers in comparison to some of these big festivals, it's a lot of money to put this on. And then to have those people come with that sort of intention, that's really what we need. It's the whole community coming together. And additionally, you've got to have the people to support that by buying tickets. So without this, we can't create, these amazing, festivals. So it's really about everybody doing their part as well. I don't see much, because we don't focus on, that's what's coming out of the rabbit hole. We don't focus on the problems, and we know that they're there, but we've seen enough of that. It's all about solutions, and it's all about what do we do. and learning from that, experience and sharing that. And then that means all the conversations that you want to pass people, and people are just having these amazing, crazy conversations, but they're only crazy when you're on the outside world, right? Is that when you're with like-minded people, they're everyday conversations, and they're so interesting. So that's what I love about it, is that you can just relax. You can take those walls down that, often you feel like you got to put the walls up to go out in public a little bit, because you're meeting new people and you don't know where they sit with things, and it just makes it all a little bit awkward. It does for me anyway.
Yep, I know the feeling.
But when you're in that environment, that's just gone, and everyone's there. And then because you're focusing on solutions, it's a completely different vibration energy, and then people just get uplifted by it. And that's time and time again. We had all these testimonies of that last year, and if we can get anywhere close to that this year, then we've done our job. And Sean can attest to all the festivals he's been to and how different, this one or the one last year, was comparison.
Yeah, 100%. Like I concur with everything that Dave just said. It was definitely a different feeling that I took away from that festival compared to all the other ones I've ever done. Which was, it was just a sense of like real community, not just like, for show community. It was like genuine, everyone there has everyone's back and everyone's looking out for each other whilst, having a great time. And there's something just really special about that. And I remember just walking away from that festival with that buzzing feeling that Dave was talking about earlier. And kind of, I was talking to a few people afterwards, and they called it the post Living Free Festival hangover or something like that, when they went back to reality and kind of, got stuck in massive queues at airports and, all that kind of stuff. And, I would encourage anyone that comes this year. The approach I took last year was that I just wasn't going to let anything like that affect me. Like, if I got stuck in an airport queue, or I actually ended up flying up to Cairns straight afterwards and doing a show up there. And I remember I kind of had managed to buy myself some pretty dodgy accommodation, and I could see that there was something spiritual to that, like trying to kind of like bring me back down, from this like buzz that was going on, and all this love that I was feeling. And I just kind of I recognized that for what it was, and just refused to kind of let it get the better of me, and kept that energy flowing for weeks, months, however to come.
It can be a bit of a challenge sometime, overall, especially when you've been on such a high, that come down can be pretty hard. And much like the festival we met at, Dave, we were up out in the bush out here. What was the name of that festival again? I've gone blank.
Apocalypso.
Apocalypso. Apocalypso or something like that. Yeah, and that was great. Another wonderful vibe out in the middle of nowhere sort of thing, really feeling that nature and the positive vibes of everyone around. It was, you don't have to worry so much, like you said, about is the conversation going to go south? Like every conversation was just gold, I hope I can make it down this time, man, because I'd love to experience that again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things, and we got asked this, like somebody wrote in and said, are you going to do Welcome to Country? Because if you're doing Welcome to Country, I'm not coming. And we didn't last year, and we won't this year, but we do actually have a couple of Indigenous guys that come down. And I explained this story. So there's this guy called Jambi, and I was up at this picnic, and I went up to him and I said, mate, I want to ask you a question. He's like an Indigenous elder from the Byron sort of region. And I want to ask you this question that, I don't believe in this Welcome to Country, because I think it's a divisive thing, and it's corporatized, and there's no real meaning behind it. But I also want to pay respect to you guys. And how do you do that and juggle those two things? Because I don't want to be part of the agenda, but I also don't want to be disrespectful, And he goes to me, well, hey, brother, why don't you just grab everyone and I'll show you what I do? And he did this thing, he calls it Connection to Country. And he basically, like, you shut your eyes and it's his ancestors and our ancestors coming together and meeting each other and walking forward together. And this is an example of, like, there's a big difference, but, you know, people don't know the difference in, you know, if you just go along with it, you're being part of this agenda. But that's a divisive agenda, because it's saying we have to be welcome to the place that we grew up. But when you're talking about their ancestors and our ancestors coming together and we walk together, like, that's actually where our solutions are. It's actually about us working together to stand together against those people who have done things that, you know, oppressed us or whatever else. We've got the same thing in common, and it's the division. And I'm seeing it over and over at the moment with the Palestine-Israel thing and everything as well, is everyone wants to divide. And that's not the part. We need to try to bring people together and focus on, you know, while we're all distracted, we're not focusing on, you know, the real stuff. And we need to create, you know, the alternative. And this is what, you know, whenever we're yelling at each other, we're not doing that. We're not getting to our true purpose, because we can't even hear our true purpose, because we can only hear every other opinion that's out there. And I think that that's quite unique in what we try to set out. And we do that at the very start. And so we have, you know, these guys, and then, you know, Jambi shares his sort of experience of how they navigate through this sort of stuff, like being connected to, you know, the to above and below, and how they sort of navigate and what he's learned. And he's a public speaker and goes along and helps a whole bunch of, you know, young guys as well. So that's really what kicks it off. And we just set that intention together and then continue forward. And, you know, I feel like right at the moment there is so much division, and we need to just get back to the big picture. Stop, you know, finding fault or picking each other apart, and start pushing up those who have that right intent, that right love, that, you know, right stuff that they want to bring to the world.
Definitely. That's the same vibe I get from the indigenous tribes I've, you know, come to know around this area as well. Very much, look, we're not interested in this corporate welcome to country stuff, but hey, everybody's welcome to come say g'day, and we'll show you how things are done our way, you know. And, you know, they're not forcing it and they're not pushing it. It's like, if you'd like to come and learn, then learn. And I've gone along and found it, you know, there's some amazing elements to their culture and amazing similarities between the indigenous and our way of looking at things. We're not that dissimilar at all. If anything, I've found the time with them to help reconnect me to, you know, the things that we've lost. You're coming to realize how much of our culture we've replaced with the X-Men and fucking Marvel superheroes and shit like that, instead of, you know, where did we come from? Where's our heritage? You know, to the idea of, like, well, I didn't even know how my family got here to Australia. We've been here that long, you know, and we'd forgotten, you know, the way we had to go through history books and, you know, records to figure out how we actually got here. And we've been here for a bloody long time, it turns out. So, you know, it's just really interesting.
What is our history? You know, like, that's the other thing, is so much of our history has been messed with, you know, and I can only go back a few generations, because, you know, there's so much secrecy around adoption and this or whatever. I can't go back. Like, it's very similar to the indigenous who were pulled apart from their families and lost that connection, you know. So, you know, there's so many people looking for the differences in each other, so that they can go, yeah, see, you know, they're part of that or whatever it is. But often when you break it down, you agree with 95% of them, you know, of what they're about. And we're trying to find that 5% or that 1% that we disagree with. Like, I think that we just need to change our mindset in how we go about our relationships and how we build together, because otherwise we're just going to repeat history. It's over and over, and they've used these tactics against us so effectively to divide us, you know. And I don't believe that, you know, I believe most of these wars and everything are put together, you know, and we're fed this information. And even the Bible says in the end times that there'll be wars and rumors of wars. And, you know, I don't even know what's a rumor of a war now. You know, I sit there and, you know, like, we need to shut off all of that noise. And there's so much noise. And we need to start focusing on ourselves to hear what our purpose is and what we're meant to be bringing to this world, And that's what we're calling for. That's the people that we're calling for it to the festival. It's those people who are ready to make those steps and to switch off some of that noise. And you literally switch off your phones at this place because you don't have phone reception. And you actually connect and you talk to people, which is a really strange thing for people to do these days, you know. And I think that that's the real important aspect of what we need to start doing. We need to go back to some of those basics, and we need to learn, you know, what worked previously and start to implement some of those things, like growing your own food and taking responsibility for yourself and not relying on mummy and daddy government to take care of us. Like, we need to support each other, look after our elderly, you know, like actually care for them rather than throw them in a home. You know, like these are concepts that we need to get back to, which is done in the Indigenous cultures, and they show respect towards their elders. We don't respect our elders. You know, we lost so much of that connection and what's really valuable. And it's really sad. And so that's why coming back to these basics and having these conversations are so important, so that we can find ourselves again and find our solutions rather than hoping that somebody out there is going to be the savior.
Exactly. Well, that's it. Sorry, go ahead, mate.
I was just going to say, like, I think a really good example of that common, like finding those common values in the middle, like no matter which side of the quote unquote fence you stand on, was back in, you know, the COVID times. And you had, and I remember putting out a tweet at the time, like, because I was kind of like seeing it. It was like you had, you know, there's two kind of different sides, and they were both essentially arguing or wanting the same thing, which was to protect their loved ones. So one side was like, you know, if you don't get this thing in your arm, you know, you're going to kill my loved one. And the other one was, well, if I get this thing in my arm, or my loved ones get this thing in their arm, they're going to be in trouble. So like, there's a common value there of like just staying safe, right? And like, and you know, I think those common values are usually like, it's usually respect, you know, a sense of freedom, like to be able to do what you want to do, and staying safe, like, and when you like get rid of all the bullshit narratives that present themselves, like it usually just comes down to kind of those three things. I'm sure there's probably more, but those are the common ones that I see, like the common values of people, you know, across the world, like no matter where they come from, no matter what their religious view, no matter what, it's like, I just want to feel safe. I just want to be respected and be able to do what it is that my heart desires.
It's a lot easier to get along than it is to, you know, constantly wage war, blow the fuck out of everything, and go, shit, now where did it all go? We blew it up. Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how many times you look through the history books, and whether they're true or not is, you know, not really relevant to the point. But, you know, the fundamental thing is how many times has a library been burnt down and there's this lost knowledge, you know, or society or a civilization lost to time through war, you know, and there's this blank page, you know. We kind of got a rough idea, and now we're trying to piece together things from the ashes, you know. It's just ridiculous. If everybody just got along, and that didn't happen in the first place, imagine how much knowledge we would have accrued as a race.
Totally. Have you guys seen the ant experiment as well, where all the ants are in the jar? The two different breeds of ants are in a jar together, and they're getting along just fine. They're crawling around all over each other and, you know, doing their thing. And then someone shakes the jar outside of the jar, and all of a sudden they start like attacking each other and going ballistic on each other. So it's like, we've got to just like start thinking about, like, you know, who's shaking the jar, which I think most people on this platform would be well aware of. But there's a lot of people that are just kind of ignorant to that. They just don't have that level of consciousness yet to see that, like, these narratives that are being sprung upon them are, you know, if it weren't for them, everything would be fine in their lives, you know. Everyone would get along. And
yep, I know the feeling. I see it every day when you're getting around doing work. You know, it's amazing how much people let the simplest, pointless things bother them, and they're ready to fire up and go to war over something stupid that could quite easily just be discussed. And 9 times out of 10, it's a point of view that they don't understand, or there's all they see is their point of view and how they're being affected. They haven't stopped to consider all the pieces that got the scenario going in the first place. And why are you firing up, yelling and screaming? It's not helping. You're just bringing the vibe down for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's the
It's
beauty of
simple,
the
straightforward
festival.
stuff.
The beauty of the festival is that you get people that are on that level, that are like, they're open to hearing what you have to say, and they might not agree with it, but they're not going to just start like kicking and screaming and have a tantrum because you don't agree with them. You know, they're open to just having a civilized, respectful conversation, and going, look, you know, I hear what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but you know, we can still hang out and have fun and get along.
Exactly. Speaking of get along, I thought we might bring in this little thing here. We've got a whole array of guests here that are going to be at the festival. These are the speaking guests. Anyone you want to point out to specifically, Dave, or if you want to have a quick word maybe as we go through each one?
Yo, Ali of Land. Yo, Alexa's, she's an amazing girl from Northern Rivers sort of area. And she's doing sort of conscious mind sort of re-healing sort of stuff. So she's awesome, lovely girl, and been part of our platform for many years. Ali is from New Zealand, so she's from Voices for Freedom New Zealand. So they're similar to, what would you say, probably similar to the My Place groups that they set up, but these guys went probably further and put a lot of the strategy in place and set up their groups so that they have got sort of an online platform where they do a range of different things. They've got a radio station, a whole bunch of stuff. So what we want to bring her across for is, one, we might be doing a Living Free Festival in New Zealand, but also we want to learn from what they've done over there, because they went through a very similar experience. And these guys were absolute champions over there in fighting against what they're doing. Alison Compton, so she's human design. So for those who have done their human design, it's pretty interesting stuff. I've done mine, and we had her on for a webinar. So looking forward to hearing what she's got to say.
What's human design? That's not a term I'm familiar with.
So human design is basically looking at when you were born, the place that you were born. So looking at all the charts and all that sort of thing. But I'm not a, what do you call it? Doing your star sign sort of person. I don't think of that, but this stuff is amazingly accurate when they know where you were born, the time of your birth, the location of your birth, and then they put it in and get all this really interesting information, so you can work out why people think a certain way, you know, different characteristics. So we're going to do it actually with all my kids, just because I want to understand the best way to, say, communicate with them, you know, like, because everyone's different. So, you know, I should, if I want the best out of my kids, I probably should try to change my parenting style depending on the child, you know, and I actually do that anyway. Like, one, I know if I'm struggling to get anything, I just go, do you want a hug? She comes in for a hug, and then everything's sweet again. And she just needs that extra comfort, where, you know, some of the others, I've got to go online and I've got to show them stuff and educate them. And then once they get that, they're like, okay, cool. I agree with you, Dad. You know, like it's interesting. But yeah, Alison's amazing at human design.
Cool. I think I have to look into that further. Another reason to go.
So Andrew's the guy I was talking about for the US. He's got a big following. Actually, Sean met him over at Confluence and introduced him, and then he was on his way out to Australia anyway. So we were lucky enough to pull him in. So he's the 2.5 hour breathwork guy, and lovely guy as well. Angela Nicholson, so homeopath. So she's doing like a 101 homeopath workshop. So it's the basics of homeopathy, which is part of us taking responsibility for our health and learning how to deal with this stuff without having to run off to the hospital or the doctor and that sort of thing. And important stuff. Cal Washington, so in Empower Movement, he's the leader of Empower. I'm actually on the board with it, Empower as well, and he came out last year. Amazing speaker, and he's lovely guy. So I'm looking forward to welcoming him back this year, because everyone loves him.
Well, we all know
Darren did-
Darren here on this channel. He's popped in many a time, but you can have a couple of words. Why not about good old Darren?
Yeah, well, Darren's on our platform as well on Lawful Me, and this ugly mug gets himself around to a whole bunch of places. But he's such a wealth of knowledge on everything law, and he's like an encyclopedia. So I like to, he's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing the way you can just recall that information. You know, I got to take notes and refer to them later, but he's got it all stored and on board, ready to rock at any time.
He's like Rain Man of the lawful system.
Yes, definitely. It's a good point.
So Elise and Tim, so they're the ones doing the sound healing on the Sunday. So they've got, the sound bowls and all of that, and you lay down. And so that's a 90-minute session with these guys in the first thing in the morning. And then it's a sort of interactive aspect as well of what they do, movement and everything. Emery Goldsworthy, he's located in Brisbane, so he's doing one on pain, in particular nerve pain, and how to deal with pain and where it really comes from and that sort of thing. So he's a very good healer.
Cool. I could definitely deal with that, having done my back, and there's constant pins and needles and things going on in my feet. So that sounds very exciting.
Yeah, so Isaac, so he's actually going to be one of our MCs. So he's got a company called Natural Art Form as well. So they have a stall there where they've got some amazing products, but he'll be MCing or co-MCing the event.
Did I accidentally skip?
Jambi, Jambi, he just over Jambi. I was mentioning he's the Indigenous guy that is amazing. He's going to do the opening and connection to country, and then he'll be talking about navigating, setting intention, that sort of stuff. So Kelly and William Newton Wordsworth, they're from Perth, so they're flying across. They run the largest biodynamic open farm over there, and the longest running. I think they've been going for about 30 years. So lots to learn from those guys, and they're going to do a workshop on biodynamics.
Nice.
Linton, he's from Melbourne, so he's got 2 workshops he's going to do. So one's on divination, or like dowsing rods and that sort of thing. So how to use that. So that's going to be an interactive workshop showing people how to actually do their zar and that sort of thing. And then the other one he's going to do, it's more on like sacred geometry and that sort of thing. So amazing, talented guy. So a couple of workshops for him.
Nice. It sounds crazy and kooky, but I've gone and done that, and it's amazing. It actually works. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Mark Gober, so he's got about 7 books. They're called The Upside Down something. So it's the Upside Down Cosmos, the Upside Down whatever, and it's breaking down some of these narratives that have been put throughout history and showing not really what it is, but showing what it isn't, and showing the evidence of what it isn't, and then going, I don't really know all the answers, but I do know what they're telling us lies on this, and here's how I know. So that'll be really interesting. But yeah, about 7 webinar will be the Upside Down.
I saw Mark talk at Confluence over in the US, and he was amazing. Yeah, the way he presents what he does is really cool. Like lots of just like just pausing at the end of saying something and letting you let it sink in, and like the ridiculousness of it, and really intense but amazing. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, cool. Sounds interesting. There's a simple philosophy that somebody put to me. He's like, pretty simple sort of dude, but the point of view was fundamentally, look, I may not know what's really going on, but I know that's not it.
So some of the artists, so Matty Rogers Band, I'll let Sean's probably a better intro for these guys.
Yeah, totally. So Matty Rogers, Matty had a song that was a bit of an anthem at a lot of the protests back through COVID and stuff like that. The song's called Free Man. and it's a rock and track. It's so good. So he's coming with his band to play on the Friday night. So that'll be party time by the time he gets on, I reckon.
So Mike Wilkinson, the Hacker Prince. So he's got a book out about the Hacker Prince, but his story actually starts as I think he was about 18 or 19, and he was a hacker. And he was sort of like a Julian Assange type thing, and then got a knock on the door and got taken away for a little bit in what he was doing and exposing sort of stuff or whatever. And then he's gone on to just amazing research on all different things, looking at petrification of giant sort of petrification and what it is in our history and all of that sort of thing. So I've had him on to our platform before, Living Free Movement, and he's really fascinating.
Wow.
Nick Patterson. So he's
most people know Nick by now, but go ahead.
Yeah. So Nick's he's only, I think he's doing the MMA for kids program there, and then he'll probably join the lawful chat, lawful and legal remedy. So Nick's been in some legal battles, obviously with COVID and all of that stuff as well. Rachel Vaughan, she's an absolute champion for those who know her. Rachel is a survivor of MK Ultra, all of that sort of craziness, and then she looks at ley lines, portals. He's going to do a property walk and show people around how to find this stuff as well. So she's up from South Australia. Just an amazing lady. If you hear this lady speak, she's just so inspirational from where she's come from to who she is and what she stands for.
Fascinating.
Dr. Steve Young. So his DJ name is Headflux, and he's like internationally known DJ. He's toured to Australia 6 times already previously, that sort of thing. And then he came out about some of this stuff, and he was actually an astrophysicist. So he's broken down a whole lot of scientific narratives from and written some books and everything as well. And that's his main thing now. So he doesn't DJ as much, but his music's amazing. He's actually more of a than a DJ. He's actually a musician or an artist bringing stuff together. He's got his own keyboard and does everything live as he's doing it. So he'll be playing a DJ set for 2 hours on the Saturday night, but he'll also be doing a talk on alchemy, and he's just a fascinating guy. So he's across from Scotland.
Nice. Well, I think it's there's a few. I think there's some artists in there as well. But I've got to be mindful of time, because we do have the Last Free Kiwi sitting in the background here, waiting to do the second part of this show. So I think we might wrap it up at this particular point and say thanks heaps, guys, for coming on, and remind everyone that www.livingfreefestival.org. If all that sounds really fascinating and amazing, go over to that website there. The link should be in the description. If it's not, shoot me an email, nqfreedomnetwork at freedom at oh my god, I'm gonna have to bring it up. I'm out of practice. nqfreedomnetwork at protonmail.com. How could I forget my own email? And of course, when you are at that website, don't forget to chuck in the promo code BADDY for your discount on the tickets, and I will endeavor to be there in person myself to go and enjoy the festival. It looks like a lot of fun and a lot of amazing people that I certainly want to meet just from that little description there. And of course, all my friends that I already know. It'd be a great opportunity to catch up and have a drink and a yarn and see what we can come up with. So, yeah, thanks heaps, Dave. We'll definitely have to get you on more often. Realizing that it was 2023 was the last time that you were on was, wow, what a shock. Time has flown.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Would love to come back on. And hope to see lots of your followers down there.
No worries. And Sean, thanks heaps for coming all the way from the UK. It's amazing the things we can do with technology.
Yeah, well, that's right. That leads into what I was going to say perfectly, because I was going to say, like, it's great that we can catch up online like this, but things like the festival actually allow us to have the real catch up, like that actually feels like what a catch up should feel like. So I would just encourage people to come along. That was one of the highlights of the festival for me, was actually meeting all these people that I'd seen or talked to online for many years, and actually seeing them in the physical presence, and giving them a hug, and actually sit down and spending some time with them. So yeah, I'd love to see as many people there as possible.
Yeah, definitely be great. So I'll definitely endeavor to get there myself, guys. So with that, I'll leave you guys to it. Thanks heaps for coming on. Is there any last words you'd like to throw in to sell the festival, Dave?
Oh, not really. I mean, those who need to be there, I think, are called to be there. So just, it's something that you're not going to regret if you do make that effort. I know it's a big trip. We've got people that have come all over the world to come previously as well. So I know it's hard to sometimes make that time to prioritize yourself, but I think it's an investment in yourself as well, and investment on what we're doing overall. So those people who know what I'm talking about. And for those who don't, I hope that you are able to come and take a little bit of a punt and come and experience it for yourself.
Yeah, and look at this. Adele's already got her ticket straight onto it. That's great. So, obviously we're in the right community here already. People are going to be there. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thanks, Batty. Appreciate your support, and hope to see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Take it easy, and I'll
Thanks.
see you soon.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
So there you have it, guys. That's the promo for the Living Free Festival, livingfreefestival.org. Go and check it out. Don't forget to use the promo code BADDY to get your discount. So we better move on. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time, and introduce the Last Free Kiwi. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, g'day, man. How are you?
Good,
me
mate.
okay?
Good. Yep.
Can you
It's a
hear me
little
okay?
soft, but
Oh, yep, sweet. I'll try to be as
maybe
loud
a
as I
bit
can.
closer
Yeah.
to the microphone if you can.
Oh, yeah. Is it better?
Try again. Yep.
Is that better?
So I've got a picture of your guitar there, man. Can we see who we're talking to?
Oh, I was just going to leave the guitar on there if that's okay.
Oh, well, if you feel that's the way to go. So
Yeah,
tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy.
Well, I've sort of been awake for 9 years as far as what's been going on. 2016, I sort of woke up at like maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and thought, oh, crikey, is that what they're doing? And is that how they're doing it? And from that point onwards, I was like, well, I've obviously got the family, as everybody has a family, and we think, my first thought was like, it just seems so outrageous that it would never happen. I was just thinking that's just so stupid. Nobody would ever go for it. And here we are in 2025, staring down the barrel of it. When obviously when the old COVID thing kicked in, the old end of 2019, I was standing in my kitchen going, well, I know what this is. I was like, what the hell can one guy stand in his kitchen down the Southern Hemisphere do? And then I went out to my camper van in the next couple of days, and then the light bulb went on and went, well, this is what you can do, and it's really easy. And I went, wow, if it's so damn easy, everybody will do it. And I thought, wow, how do I get people to see that it's so damn easy? But it's so damn easy that people can't see it. And everybody's been telling everybody what to do and how to do it, and everybody knows what you have to do, but nobody's doing it because they're too afraid to do it. And I know why they're too afraid to do it, because we've been conditioned, we've been indoctrinated, we don't know any other way. We've been brought up this way, and I suppose this is why I'm called I'm Me, Last Free Kiwi, because I've chosen to walk that path, take that leap of faith and have a bloody crack at it, and I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to do it in a lawful state, not a legal state, a lawful state. And I'm not. I'm nothing original, because there's a lot of people out there that understand exactly where I'm coming from. I'm not going to say actually understand; they comprehend it. And what it all comes down to is what I found. Basically, my music that I was writing back in 2016 was actually telling me the message of what was coming. Actually, even in 1998, I read a whole album, and there's 3 songs on there. One of them is called Judgment Day, and that song and those lyrics are literally for this year. Literally, I would say in one more month time, on the 9th of the 9th, is where I actually see it all coming to fruition. Basically, what that song was about, Judgment Day. And it's where people can either take that leap of faith or not take that leap of faith. And by not doing anything, nothing happens. And by doing something, something will happen. And basically, every action has a reaction, you know. And I take it back to the, not that I think Einstein's anything, but I take it back to the Einstein saying, if you keep doing something over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result, it's the first sign of madness, really. Yeah, you know, it's
Yeah.
So I suppose where I'm coming from, and the most simplest thing, and like I said, I'm not original as far as what I'm trying to say to everybody right now, but unless you actually choose to walk that path of the warrior, basically stand as the living man or living woman or living boy or living girl that you are, and remove yourself from the actual slavery that they indoctrinated you into, well, you're going to be stuck there forever. Now, they have no jurisdiction over you if you withdraw yourself from that jurisdiction. So what I have done, what I did last year actually, which has come up to a year now, is I actually removed my whole property, including my body and anything that I possess or owned. I've removed it from the legal jurisdiction completely, because the legal jurisdiction is what I call a religion. And if you could look at that religion as a big bubble of shit, okay? Now, do you want to be in a big bubble of shit? Not many people like to be living in a big bubble of shit. So my suggestion is you remove yourself from the big bubble of shit and take yourself out. And you can withdraw yourself from the legal jurisdiction by declaring it, and it's your will. Hence why they call it your will. Yeah, you're willing it into the atmosphere. It's basically your will to God. Yeah, thy will be done. You know, and this is all. It's very, very spiritual, as we've all talked about. Like I said, I'm nothing new here. I'm just another dude on the journey. You know. But everything that's come to me is like marbles that just popped into. In the last month, it's been crazy with the amount of people that have just been saying this stuff that just like, man, this makes so much sense. Just another marble just drops into place. Another marble just drops into place, and it's by conforming to the insanity, we're not going to go anywhere. It's as simple as that. Now, they are possibly going to come and try to enforce this with their guns, drones, God, you name it. They're going to have a crack at whatever they're going to do. But that's when you've got to stand up and say, well, okay, if you're going to come for me, but guarantee that I'm going to protect myself and I'm going to protect my family and I'll protect whatever is around me. And whoever comes, it's going to be what it's going to be. Now, if I have to leave that planet at that time, well, that's just what was supposed to happen. And the reason I say that is because I've already had heart failure because of the pain and suffering that the world has gone through already. I wanted to try and save everybody, and I couldn't, and it fucking killed me, mate. You know. And it destroyed my family, just like it's destroyed everybody's family. It's broken my heart, like it's broken everybody else's heart. And when I came back for the second run, which is basically what Judgment Day song was about. Said, let the fires burn out twice before you follow through, was a lyric that I wrote back in 1998. And my question to myself was, would you come back and do it the same? You know, if you had the chance to start again, would you do it all the same, or would it change? And my question to myself was, well, No, you probably wouldn't do it the same. You'd probably have another crack at it, and you'd do it a completely different way. And look, and once again, I'm nothing new here, but it's not like I'm preaching to the choir, and I sort of get that. But I'm just trying to simplify it as much as we can for the beautiful people out there, because what I just heard from these last couple of guys, I'm so on the same level, man. You know, I want to go to this Living Free Festival if there's one in New Zealand here. I'd love to play at it, and meet up with these
Well, it
guys.
sounds like
and,
that's
you
what
know,
they're trying to do. So yeah, definitely keep in touch, and you know,
that'd be awesome, you know. And if they need somewhere to stay, well, I've got a free B&B instead of paying for shit. People, this is the crazy part. They give us this legal tender to use and say you can use it, but because they created it, copyright law, he who creates owns. They own and control that money, right? They own and control that money in regards to whether you could access that money, or whether it's a CBDC or whatever freaking medium it is. They own and control it because they created it. So what I'm trying to say to people is we can actually, by changing our mindset and reprogramming our own minds, and this is what I come up with freedom tokens about a year and a half ago. Freedom tokens are free. They're given freely. You don't need a bank account, and you don't need the internet.
so
that's what I'm saying. If you're going to start again.
So what is a freedom token? Like, can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
So you've got to be given it. You can't buy it, and you can't bank it. So
is it something you've got functioning, or is it just a kind of an idea at this point?
Well, it's something that's come to me, and basically, if you're always giving out to people, and other people are always giving to you, instead of take, and I need this for me, and I want for this, and I earned this, and the old model never worked. The old model never worked for anybody apart from the people that controlled it all. So once again, why would you do it the same? You know, it's so hence why the lyric in the song, if you had the chance to start again, would you do it all the same, or would it change? And we're here at a great reset. We're at a moment of time. Hence, look at the guitar right there. It's got the hourglass. That guitar was painted in 1998. It's got the Roman numerals on it. Basically, it says to me the Romans are coming, and on the side of the guitar it says tick tock, tick tock. Now, my brother-in-law painted that in 1998. I didn't tell him to paint it that way. I just said, just paint it and see what you can come up with. And this is what he came up with. And there's about all these little marbles I was saying that dropped into place as I've been going along the journey. So many different things. The date of my birth. I've had all these nines come in my way. Hence the 9th of September 2025 is 999. The date of my birthday is a 999, and every 9 years it actually comes up as a 999. And if you look at numerology, 999 means the end of something, the start of something else. It also means to serve. So by serving, you're not taking, you're serving. You know. So my suggestion. So what I've done is in the last 9 months, believe it or not, which I started in September, which is the 9th month last year, I wrote a whole musical, which I never thought I'd ever do. I write songs, obviously, but I didn't think I was writing a bloody musical. But I've written about 32 songs in the last 9 months. And I didn't have anybody else to help play them with me. Like I didn't have drummers, bass players, or keyboardists, or other vocalists, or anything else. It just me in my studio. And I just gave it the best crack that I could give it, being the musician I am. And so pretty much everything that you're hearing on the recordings that I've got, which is on Bandcamp, has been done by me in the last 9 months. And all I'm asking,
sorry to cut you off there, man. You sent me a link. That we are the free music.
We are the free
reality stage show.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, you've uploaded a few things in the past couple of weeks to that. Would you like me to share that out?
Yeah, if you could share it, that I would love people to follow that Rumble channel.
So I'll just drop that into the comments for people, and for those of you who can't access the comments for whatever reason, I am going to drop that onto my Telegram page as well.
Yeah.
So there's a link there. Go and have a look. I haven't had a chance to go through it all myself. Like,
No.
just come back off a three week.
Yeah,
I'm
bro.
not dealing with anything sort of
No,
three
mate.
3 weeks. Had
But-
family up here and whatnot, and it's amazing how little time I've had to do anything. I had visions of perhaps doing a little few things here on the side for the network if I got a moment, and that moment never arrived, so nothing really got done, unfortunately. I'll have to have a look at it myself. But is that where that musical you're referring to, is that the We Are Free full-length musical reality stage show precursor?
That's the one, yeah.
Yep.
So basically, what I did is I did the best I could do with the tools that I have. Right now, I haven't actually been online since 2018. This is my first time online since then, really. And I only went online about a month ago, as you could probably tell. Okay, and the reason I didn't want to go online is because I obviously knew about what AI was going to be doing. Right. And so, if you contribute to the madness, then you're asking for trouble, really, basically. I know it seems like it's a necessary evil at the moment, and I don't put anybody down for what they're doing. Everybody's fighting the good fight. I get it, but ultimately, it's like what Sean and Dave were just saying, is that you leave your phones in the car, and get back to connecting with people face to face and having a jam with each other and getting the kids to play with each other without these devices, without the machines, because it's the machines that are taking over. If we keep using them, they'll just take us over. And
I mean,
as far as
it's facilitating our ability to do this. So I think it's just being mindful of
look,
how we use it. Really, it's the same principle as guns don't kill people. The Labor Party does, or governments do. There's lots of ways to sort of throw that, around. Like, it's a tool or it's a weapon. You use a knife to cut your meat on the table or your dinner in any way, shape, or form. You can stab someone with it as well. So it comes down to how you use it.
I think the biggest thing with what I'm talking about right now is that AI uses you don't use AI. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference with where we're
I
at
use
now,
AI when I need it. So again, I mean, it's a two-way street. I guess it's learning from you.
It's
What
learning
AI
from,
is
it's
going to
harvesting
become,
you.
who knows? It's one of those things we're going to have to wait and see. I'm hoping it doesn't become a Sarah Connor and John Connor scenario myself. That'd be really good. That if it doesn't do that. But
totally right.
I mean, not everything's full doom and gloom. Yeah, I think in a lot of ways, you look at like the whole COVID scenario, for instance, and from a certain point of view, it's like this great evil, but at the same time, that great evil's done great good things in exposing, the corruption in this world. It's shown so many people what some of us have known for a great many years. I've known for a long time that these days would come, and it was going to be these kind of moments that were going to be a big awakening for a lot of people. And I mean, sadly, not everybody's going to wake up. I think some people will never wake up, regardless of what you show them. They're just really hell bent on staying asleep. They like the nice warmth of their bed and their pillow and their teddy bears and all that sort of shit. And that's okay. I get it. They get to repeat, this stage of existence, I guess, in some way, shape, or form. While everybody else will move on and evolve. At least that's the way I see it. But like I said, tool's a tool. It's not. I don't think everything's 100% doom and gloom in this scenario. And we've used this technology very wisely today. And so many people in the movement are definitely using it. And I just looked up and noticed there's 222 views. There's 33 likes. That's cool. I love seeing those sorts of things. And we started the first podcast back on the 8th of the 8th at 8 p.m, and here's technology speaking to me, and those numbers have instantly changed as soon as I pointed it out. Now I had to look at it at that exact moment to see these digital numbers come in and say and speak to me in this regard. I mean, even when we were talking about, hey, let's do a podcast, I'm like, oh yeah, 8th of the 8th, and it'll be 8 p.m, and didn't even dawn on me till you gone back, 888. I'm like, oh fuck, how did I miss that? Like, things like that. It's just, it's amazing. And if you look at it from that universal construct, and the word universal is very important here, because the universe, the one verse that we all live in, no chorus. The chorus is catchy and all. It's just the verse where the story is.
Yeah.
If everything comes from this one creator or whatever, and some would say that the universe and everything that lives in it is the creator experiencing itself, is a very interesting point of view. But if that point of view is correct, and we'll look at it philosophically, then even the bad things come from the creator.
Well, you've got the up and the down, as above, so below, the yin and the yang, the black and the white. And basically, you'll see this in the musical that I wrote. The first half, what I call the well, actually, I think I called it the yang, but the yang is actually, according to Google anyway, the yang is supposed to be the light side, and the yin is supposed to be the dark side. But because we're in a clown world or an upside down world at the moment, basically the Stranger Things, Netflix. I've swapped it around and then started with the yang and then the yin. So basically, the first part of the musical is what I would call the darker side of basically what we've been struggling with. And like I said, I actually wrote this like last year, basically, and then the other side, which is the lighter side, is more of a remedy, more of a to try and bring us out, just as the Living Festival's trying to do, is to bring us back to the positive, bring us back to the light, to try and make us connect without all the darkness in our lives, because it only takes a little spark to brighten up a room, it's which is pretty cool, But yeah, without knowing what the answers were, because everybody's been on their journey, everybody's been learning as they go. Nobody's a bloody expert, and if they say they're an expert, I wouldn't believe them anyway.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. It's the same as people selling religion to me. I said, well, it's really good that you figured it all out. Well, how come you're still here?
Yeah, well, this is it,
But each to their own.
Yeah. So what I was talking earlier about removing myself from the legal jurisdiction. And so what I did, I was like, well, because our titles, as I was talking to you earlier, when we first got the birth certificate, we didn't realise that there was constructive fraud going on there, and that title had been stolen from our parents and been corporatised. We were thrown in as a company, or as a trading name, So without knowing what that was about, I was like, well, how do I actually remove myself from that? And as I said, I actually declared this, firstly, to let everybody know that I'm actually no longer that title. I'm actually taking ownership of that title and withdrawing any consent from any contract that I was part of. Now, because those titles, that title was on the likes of your car and your dog and your children and your land and everything like that. I was like, well, how am I going to get rid of all of these titles off all these possessions? And there's a word for you, possessed. Possessions has been possessed with possessions, and it's that's that dark spiritual crap again. So I was like, as part of this being the Last Free Kiwi, I was like, well, I'm going to get rid of these possessions, because if I don't actually own anything, then they can't take it off me. Right. So what I've done is I've actually sold it, and I sold it for freedom tokens. All right. So I went into the council and I told the council that I've sold my property privately. Right. Let them know I've sold it, because I don't have an email, and I didn't have a phone that worked. So I had to drive for an hour and a half to go into the council, went across and talked to them over the thing. Had 3 witnesses plus the camera going on there, and just let them know that I've sold the property and that, all the rates are paid. There was nothing owing against it. Freehold house, job done. And the property's been sold, job done. And I walked out. So they've been given notice. I also walked down the street and told all the neighbours down the street about what I've done as well. So I've given the community notice as well. So basically, exactly what I've done is exactly what the council would do to you. So basically, if they're doing it to you, you can do it to them, just by giving people notice. Okay.
It's a very interesting idea. So how long ago did you do that?
Last year, about a year ago.
Righto. And
Yeah.
anything come from council or any other figures of alleged authority?
Well, you don't legally or lawfully have to have a letterbox. You don't legally or
Mhm.
lawfully have to have an email. You don't legally or lawfully have to have a phone.
Yeah.
So what it's going to take is for somebody to come up and knock on the door and say, this is ours, or we've got claim over this, or whatever the case be. And here's this piece of paper with spells on it, spelling, which I'll come to in a minute, to say that this is the case. And basically, unless there's a contract that I've signed willingly, a fully informed contract that I've signed willingly, then if there's no contract, there's no obligation. It's as simple as that. Not only that, but I gave them notice, and under tacit agreement as far as Cal Washington is concerned, the guy for the Living Free Festival. Tacit agreement means if you don't rebut it, then she's done. Job done. So it's been over a year, and I gave them a month's notice to come and talk to me about if they had claim over the property, whether it was anybody from down the road there was, oh, this is our bloody land, it's been in our family's name, or whatever the case. I mean, it's freehold land that I paid for, right?
Yeah.
But I sold it for free. I sold it for freedom tokens. So as part
Yeah,
of
I'm
that,
going to assume you didn't have a mortgage or anything. You own the property outright.
No. The thing is, this is it. I'm lawful. I'm saying I'm lawful. I'm not. I don't have any outstanding debt. Never have. I was a good citizen slave until I realized that no, I don't want to be a citizen slave anymore. Okay. So, and I didn't want possessions, because if you're possessed with it and you're possessed with it under that title, well, under the title that they created, you didn't create it, they own and control that title. So anything under that title, they own and control, and they can take it. So what I did is I sold it all for freedom tokens. And under the new contract, I am now kaitiaki. Now, kaitiaki, in a legal term, which I'm not the legal term, is a guardian.
Right. And where does that word originate? I've not heard it before.
It's te reo. So it's the native language of this land here.
Righto.
Okay. So because te reo is a spoken language, it's not a written language. Now, this is very, very important. It's very, very important for you guys as well, and for England, and for Canada, and for America. Okay. The English language was imported into Australia. It was imported into New Zealand. It was imported into Canada. It was imported into the USA.
Yep.
Okay. Now, being that it's imported, you will notice that it's not official. It's not an official language in New Zealand. It's not an official language in Australia. It's not an official language in the UK. It is an official language in Canada. However, it can't be, because it was imported from the UK. And just recently, I'm seriously here, like in the last month or two, it wasn't official in the States until Donald Trump decided he was going to make it official. And not only that, but Mr. Winnie Peters here, Mr. Winston Peters, is trying to make it official in our country here. Now, there's a reason they're trying to do this. There's a reason they're trying to do this, obviously, because they know. All right.
So I'm not familiar with Trump making the English language official in America.
Last 2 months,
I've heard of it.
Yeah, exactly. So all the stuff has been this is the stuff they're trying to distract everybody with the old clown show going on, everybody watch over here so we can get all this other stuff sorted out of the background. So, but what he's done it under the legal jurisdiction, so it's void anyway. Not only that, but because the English language is unofficial.
1st of March. There you go. Just suss it out. There it is from the White House itself. Fact sheet: President Donald J. Trump designates English as the official language of the United States. There you go. I'll be a monkey's uncle.
All right. So this is very, really, really important, because it's not official. The language is not official. It doesn't matter what contract he's made. It's not official. It's void. Every contract in English is void, and it has been void since it came into the country. Just think
it's
about
interesting
that for 2
because you
seconds.
sorry to cut. I'm just looking at this going, okay, so how are we selling this? You know, it's like, right, from a certain right wing point of view, you could say, oh well, it's, you know, they're just making sure that everybody speaks bloody English. We can't have, you know, these people coming from Mexico speaking Spanish and all that sort of stuff, and you know. That's an immediate sales pitch, but you know what we're also considering here is that it's overwriting the language of the Native Americans, you know, who
Exactly. That's
resided there
exactly
long
right, bro.
before
This
colonization.
is exactly, and first in time is first in law.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we simplify it and take it right back to the nothing, right, and then we start again, all right, and that's the same with, there's a thing called the Treaty of Waitangi that they've got over in this land, right? Now, like I said, Te Reo is a spoken language. It's not a written language. And it's the same with Aboriginal. It's a spoken language. It's not a written language. Māoris never needed to write it down on a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? That was introduced. Now, because they said that the Māoris accepted it and went into contract with the New Zealand company or the Australian company or the UK company or the American company. You see where I'm coming from? It's a contract and that contract using English is a contract into commerce, because English is the official language of commerce.
Yep.
Okay, it's not the official language of any landmass. All right, so they're bringing you into a fictional state via consent, hence why this government, and I've heard my Prime Minister say it in the last 5 years, and I heard the the ex-Prime Minister say it, and I heard the Police Minister say it. They govern by consent, they police by consent, and you didn't have to take the jab. It was ultimately your choice, because a mandate is a mandate. It's not compulsory. It's all the play on the words, it's the spells. And the whole English language, it gets a little bit more deeper than this, bro, but the whole English language is all based on spells that you write down on a piece of paper, on a dead piece of paper. The paper's not living, and you put spells on it. When did you learn to spell? You think of the indoctrination that we had, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the
Actually,
spiritual esoteric.
You got me thinking. I'm trying to find it. From a book by Terry Pratchett, and there's this character, the Knack McFeagle, in it, and I'm trying to find an exact quote so I don't get it wrong. But again, in that one, they're like a bunch of little pissed off little Scottish guys, you know. They're like, you know, about yay high sort of thing in the book sort of thing. And one of the things is that they don't like people writing down their names, because people cast spells over things when they write down your name, you know.
Well, this is how they did it back in the day. And this is how they deceived the Māoris when they came in here with the Treaty of Waitangi, because the Māoris never gave up their sovereignty. They've been saying this since Jesus was a boy, excuse the pun, you know. And I don't believe the Aborigines would have given up their sovereignty either. or the
Well,
Incas,
as far as I'm
Native
concerned,
Indians.
they still haven't.
Well, this
They
is where
haven't
I'm
given
coming
it
from.
up, and they haven't ceded it either.
Well, this is exactly where I'm coming from. Now the cool thing about us, what we call our us white fellas, if you want to call us white fellas, you know. And as far as I'm concerned, black or white skin, we both bleed red, you know. So it doesn't you know. I was brought up with Māori fellas. We got on like a house on fire, jam with fellas. You know, my whole life has been brought up just as it would be with you guys, with the Aborigine fellas, you know. You either get on or you don't, and some people are dicks and some people aren't, you know. It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I was born on this land. So I'm a native-born Kiwi fella. And you might be a native-born Aussie fella. But if you're a native-born Australian person, that's a totally different thing. Because Australia is a corporation. New Zealand is a corporation. So if you address yourself as an Australian and you put yourself under the Australian flag, the maritime flag, which is on your driver's license probably, and you'll probably find that your face is underneath that flag on the driver's license, and you'll probably find that your face is under the ocean on the bottom of the sea floor on your passport, because it is on the Kiwi one. on the New Zealand passport. So basically, it says that you're under this maritime flag, under that contract. So any contract you do with a New Zealand company puts you under them. So this is why I've withdrawn all consent, which is lawful, by the way, withdrawn all consent from any and all corporations that I can. Now, it's an open contract because it takes a while to exit out of this. You can't just do it all at once, all right? I still have to use legal tender now and again, all right? But to be honest, I've lived off the oily rag for the last year and I'm still surviving. I've lost 40 kgs and I feel the best I've ever felt. You know? So there is where there's a will, there's a way. And yeah, I'm just one dude having a crack, you know? And I don't know. For some reason, I've been told to come online, which I haven't been online for 9 years. And then all of a sudden I'm online with you, my bro. And I'm reaching out. And I'm reaching out to all the people that are listening today to look deep inside their heart and go, well, if you're going to start again, would you do it all the same or would it change? Because if you're just going to do it the same, in other words, take the same model and try to redo the same model, you're wasting your time. And that's what I'm saying. If everybody was given everything free and we trained ourselves to grow food and give, you know, nobody would go without. We'd all be sorted out. We'd all have a shelter. We'd all have food. We'd all have fresh spring water. And nobody would go without. You know, not everybody has to have a cruise liner or a bloody fast, I don't know, rocket ship or whatever. You know, I know there's greed. I know there's all that sort of stuff. But sooner or later, the thing is, I've only come across really, really good people in my lifetime. I haven't come across too many fuckwits. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm sure there's a lot of fuckwits. It's been a bit
even on my side. I've come across a lot of fuckwits, but I've come across a lot of really good people too. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, I just this is just being my, you know, most people I've come across have been pretty good. I've come across a couple of dodgy buggers, you know, and you soon pick up on their vibe. And you're like, oh yeah, no, I'll stay away from that fellow, you know, or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like I said, if you don't do anything, nothing happens, you know. And it's and as far as I'm just going to go back to the English language. Because I went as far back as I could, and I was like, law, according to most people that I've been told, originally came from the Bible, right? 10 Commandments. But the problem is that Bible that most people read was translated into English. Now, English is the official language of commerce.
I do believe that, you know, there was quite a bit of a resistance to it being written in English.
Yeah, but do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So, was it a spell or lost in translation? Because the guy that translated it, William Tyndall, who translated the Hebrew Greek version, not long after that, he got strangled and then burnt alive by the king. And that king just happened to be a Freemason. Which was around the same time that William Shakespeare was around. And a famous quote by William Shakespeare: "The world is a stage."
Yes.
And look at what we're looking at right now.
Well, it's one hell of a show.
Okay, so if they made a trick on us with the English language back there. The other thing is a lot of the terms of the English language it's called Middle English, and a lot of it originates from the Norman conquest when the French came over and took over England. And what they did is they changed the English language and made it Middle English. And by changing the language into Middle English, a lot of the terms, and one of the terms is government, was actually a French term. There's a lot of
it means control mind, I believe.
That's right, but it was actually from Norman conquest that came across from there. So the actual Middle English, which is basically what we were indoctrinated to learn under what I call the slave language. We were taught to learn the slave language. We weren't taught Te Reo or Aborigine. And they're even right now, even just today, I read it today, that they're taking out te reo books from our school curriculum to put to try and drive English back into the market again. So everybody's gonna be in commerce. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a entity of commerce. I'm a living man. You know, it's about as simple as that, really. And to be honest,
Yeah.
values in the eye of the beholder. And as far as I'm concerned, my freedom is way more valuable than as much gold as you can give me. Because gold's heavy, it's hard to get out of the ground, and it leaves you with cyanide all over the place.
Yeah.
And you know, it is. It's, I mean, if the only reason gold and diamonds are valuable is because we all believe it is.
Yeah, definitely. Especially the case of diamonds is fundamentally a carbon. But I did find one part. I'm going to have to go through the books to find the full context of this. But, you know, here's one part from the Knack McFeagles here. A word writ down can hang a man. You know, because I remember I read this book a long time ago, and I got a good chuckle out of the whole idea, you know, of how they were so afraid of, you know, their names being written down or things being written down, because, you know, you could see it's unwanted legal contracts start coming your way and shit, you know, and you can see that's what they do. It's exactly what, like, you know, the analogy he makes here, you know, in the book, you know, although given in a very comical presence, is a very real construct, you know. All of a sudden, you're getting these little windowed fucking bits of mail in the letterbox, and you owe money for what? For being alive? For trying to own something? It's just ridiculous.
Well, this is exactly right. So if you don't own anything, but whereas I'm a kaitiaki, I'm a guardian, I can still use everything that's around me. I just don't own it anymore. And everybody can come here via invitation, because they have a contract as you walk through the door, just like Bunnings and your supermarket now that has a contract. I have a contract as you walk onto the property. First one says no legal jurisdiction applies as you walk in the door. The second one says no trespassing. Third one says entry by invitation only. Fourth one says by entering you agree to terms of contract.
That's what I have to add to mine. I pretty much got all the same sort of stuff, except I haven't got that bit. Yeah, in terms of contract. That's a good one. I like that.
By entering into this business, you understand it. Yeah.
If you don't mind, I've got another friend here who requested to come on. Once I mentioned, you know, you were coming on, and you from New Zealand and whatnot. For a good friend of mine, Mark here, is actually talking about moving up to New Zealand, and he wanted to pop in and say good day. If you don't mind, if we can bring him in.
Yeah, bring him in, man. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No worries. Okay, Mark, how are you, mate?
Hey, mate, I was just about to go to sleep.
Sorry, you've been patiently waiting there for a little while, so I thought I'd better bring you in, buddy.
You know, I've been hitting the chill.
Chilling out, mate. Just chilling out.
Yep.
Well, sips, buddy. So, you've recently decided, fuck this country. You want to go to New Zealand. What's the motivation there, buddy?
Look, don't get me wrong. I love Australia. It's a great nation. It's a great country. However, the Australian people have lost their way. Now, the gentleman that we're speaking to, I didn't catch his first name, if that's all right.
He's going by I Me at the moment.
Okay,
I'm me, bro.
Hey, mate.
Kia ora.
Mark.
G'day, mate.
It reminded me of the ISBY construct that you get from one of them. What was it? There's a story of a lady who claims to have been a nurse at Roswell and claims to have spoken to the crashed extraterrestrial entities, and in that document, basically they claim that we're all ISBYs, we're all, you know, beings, you know, that their corporeal entity and our corporeal entities, and basically corporeal entities are fundamentally ISBYs. That was the best way they could describe it. And so when I say I Me, it actually made me think of the same thing, you know. But anyway,
Well, I'm looking at heading to a place called Waipawa.
Oh yeah, beautiful place, bro.
Yeah, I think so
Yeah,
too.
awesome. Yeah,
Motivation
yeah.
is the Australian government has just signed the WHO agreement,
Yep.
giving away our medical autonomy, and allowing the WHO to take on board and do to any Australian what they want to.
Yep.
Well, if they can't do it, and I believe that New Zealand Maoris, from what I've heard, went to your government house and said you signed that agreement. Not one of you is going to leave alive. Would that be a correct statement?
Oh, look, there's a couple of ways to look at like the divide and conquer thing, which would have happened over in your ways as well, over in Australia. It's been a big player over here. I've watched it over the last 5 years, just seeing who all the people are that have been running the show, doing their thing, and how they've been placing things in the middle of other things to make sure that there's no unity and it's all being ripped apart and all sorts of things going on. So it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors, my friend. Now, to get up and leave the land that you're born on, yeah, sure, you're welcome, man. Come over if you want to. Not a problem. But what I'm trying to say is that ultimately they're going to try the same here anyway.
Yeah.
And I suppose where I'm coming from is when I was talking earlier is like, once again, you have the choice to whether you want to actually contract with the government, because you have a choice whether you do that or not. Now, if they say that you don't have a choice, then that's called slavery. Now, slavery in this land, anyway, I'm not too sure about Australia, but in this land, it was abolished in 1840 under their laws. Hence why they govern by consent, police by consent.
Yeah. The
Okay.
only that I have with that is I recall a situation not long after the COVID thing broke out here in Australia, and there was a group of 3 or 4 people who had their jobs because they were teachers.
Yes.
And went to a property that one of them owned. Basically, the coppers all turned up and big gunfight, and they killed them all. So,
yeah, it can happen.
Yeah.
We've been at war for the last 5 years.
Absolutely. No, actually,
So, if we look at Gaza, it's been a genocide there. And like I said, as I was saying, we're going to have to start walking the path of the warrior here. And I might be the first to go, but that's okay. I've already had a really good life, but I'm going to have a good crack at it. And if they're going to come through here and try and trespass on me unlawfully, well, I'm going to try and protect myself. It's simple as that. But what I've done is everything lawfully. I haven't broken any laws. I've just withdrawn consent from their bullshit.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And I've declared it. And I've told all my neighbours and gave everybody notice. And that's all you have to do. You've just got to remove yourself from the fuckery.
Yeah.
Like sooner or later.
By leaving this country and not look, I left Australia in '99 with no intention of actually I had intention of coming back in 3 months and stayed away for 5.5 years. So that's 5.5 years of tax that they didn't get from me or steal from me.
Yeah.
And the reasons I came back is family, basically. But that family's all grown up. They're all adult. It's now time for me to make a decision. Do I want to stay in bullshit? Not really. So New Zealand seems at this point in time to be a good option. And if it all turns to shit, then you could always get lost in LA.
Yeah, well, to give you an idea, they're on second stage for the CBDCs. Okay, that comes in October.
CBDCs are
the digital
central bank
money.
digital currencies.
Yeah.
All right, so New Zealand's with that. They've also just brought in the RUCs, which is road user charges for all vehicles, which are going to be on a digital platform. So to get around the place, to be under the contract with the Land Transport Agency, as you probably got that in Australia too, I think. But the old e-tags or whatever they're called.
In capital city, yes, but not in the country.
Yeah. So this is what literally today they're talking about. They said, it's going to be just so much easier. It's not going to make your petrol any cheaper. It's just going to make sure that their private company that's going to run it, it's a private company. It's not even the government running it. It's a private company.
Yeah.
With these private-public partnerships, as we already know about, they're going to be able to go around and enforce and throw all these tickets in people's letterboxes.
It's madness.
So, yeah.
And actually,
Yeah.
I just want to. This is quite prophetic. This comment come up here from Sujuris. I'm guessing that's how I say that. Sorry. There is nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. The only way forward is to stand up. And it's funny he said that, because I actually just looked this up from a band called Primus. A song I highly recommend everybody go and have a listen to. And the lyrics are fundamentally, tragedies are coming and there's no place to run and hide.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great song from 2011. Another mind you could clearly see from reading these lyrics. That knew something is coming. It's not good, whatever it is, but great song. And I think that concept, best of luck to you, Mark. If you can get to New Zealand and somehow, get a few extra years or whatever, awesome. But I'm inclined to agree with the basic concept put out here. There is nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. These people want global domination. Where do you go? Where do you hide? They're coming for everything and everyone. They're not going to, this is, for the thousands of years of trying to conquer the world or whatever, and all of they're coming to that. Hey, they're actually going to conquer the world scenario. That's their move. So unless we stand and say, hell no, fuck you,
at least in New Zealand,
see how we're going to
become a resident down there, and as a resident or a citizen, at least I can have something there to as for my own protection.
Yeah, like I said, I can't help but feel that I've lost
our protection away.
Yeah, and old mate's back. We lost. I'm the free Kiwi. Here he is, back again.
Sorry about that.
No, you're all right. That's all right. We have these technical glitches. It's the joy of being live.
Yeah, no, it's the black and the white. It's as above, as below sort of thing. It's like you've got a choice, stand or run. It's really as simple as that. And I suppose where I'm coming from, and as this whole conversation has been about, is that you can actually stand lawfully. And actually, one guy, I think Michael was just doing, was it Brady Gunn, the stand in the park fella? Don't know if you know about that fellow.
Not off the top of my head.
Well, basically, he stood in the park, and all of a sudden, he's got like 1,500 groups around the world standing in the park because he started it. And he just wears a yellow T-shirt, and they all come together every Sunday and stand for freedom. It's about as simple as that.
I do know of Stand in the Park. I just wasn't aware of who started it, to be honest. I've probably been told. It's just so much information in a short period of time, and so much you can absorb. But I do love this comment here from Sam. I just want to bring attention to Sam's comment here. Just you wait. What's coming is very good for us and bad for them. They fucking flip everything. I love this because this is positive. It's a hey. We don't need to worry. We don't need to go and run and hide. Maybe we should just have faith that what's coming is really good for us. There was another good comment quite earlier. I wanted to point into Trish Wildfire pointed out that it's a 888 and a full moon. I did see that earlier today, and when I seen the 888 scenario come up, I thought, wouldn't it be funny if that turned out to be a full moon? And there you go, it is.
Full moon tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? I thought, according to the full moon thing, 99.1% today.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah. They are saying full moon on the 9th, but yeah. I mean, yeah, at 55, at 5:54, on 9th of August at 5:55 p.m.
Well, we're on the 9th now because it's just, well, according over here, it's the 9th. It's just tipped over. So
just flipped over.
Yeah.
So yeah, bring it up. Here's the currently at 99.1%. It looks pretty bloody full to me, I can tell you that. And yeah, there you go, 9th of August. And there's that synchronicity again. 5:55 p.m. Just like the 222 viewers with 33 likes on the 8th of the 8th at 8 p.m. It's just,
well,
yeah, the
okay, bro.
universe is speaking to us. You know,
Oh, can I sing?
can
Can
you
I sing
hear?
you a song
Can
to
you
go with
see?
it?
Oh, by all
Can I-
means.
Yeah, this is a song I called. I wrote.
I'll give you the stage, my friend.
A song I wrote back in 2011, which is on the lighter side of the musical. It's a song called Memory Lane. This goes out to everybody that's been fighting hard. This is just to take you back to before 2019, so you can remember the good days and understand what you. I want you to think about your kids and think about your mums and your dads and your sisters and your bros and your cousins and all your mates and everybody that you grew up with over your life, because we've had a bloody good life, people, and it doesn't have to stop anymore. This is what this song's about anyway. So. An angel came and spoke to me when I was down on my luck in a frightening dream. She told me everything is gonna be alright. Just to lay on back and enjoy the ride. Take a ride with me. Take a trip down memory lane. Stand beside me. It will never be the same as it used to be. So good things to come, those who wait. Not for those who hesitate, yeah. Gotta take all the chances as they go. Take a look at your life and embrace the love. Be right with me. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Stand beside me. It will never be the same as it used to be. Used to be, yeah. Darling, I know we belong. All the sacred side is finally gone, yeah. Our family, our soul, our faith, and our hearts. And this day forward, It's a brand new song. With me, stick you down memory lane. Stand beside me. Sitting never be the same as it used to be. Ride with me. Take a ride with me. Take a ride with me. Take a ride with me.
Awesome, man. Sadly, I think the internet didn't do a great deal of favors. A little bit sketchy. Is that track available on your
Yeah, bro.
Rumble channel?
Well, I'll tell you what, the best place to get the good quality tunes is on Bandcamp.
Bandcamp?
Yep, and the free downloads, there's no cost. Okay, and it's I'm Me, IME, the Last Free Kiwi, all one word. And those are all the recordings I've just done in the last 9 months.
When I get down there, you and maybe hook up together.
Yeah, my friend. Like I said, it's a free B&B here, man. You're more than welcome to come over here, and yeah, there's a bed for you if you need it.
Well, more the case of what I do for a living.
Oh, you're
Yeah, well, you're
too?
in the studio. Show him around a bit, mate.
How do I turn the camera around?
Don't you have a little flip fucking button with like a circle with an arrow or something?
Remove. No, it doesn't do that, mate.
I don't know. I do this at home with a computer, so.
Yeah.
Well, we've just
Can't
lost
really
you.
see.
No, I'm here.
You'll just have to.
Just have to use the front camera.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So you've got a bit of studio equipment then? Is it? No?
Just a little bit.
Oh, crikey. Oh, Jesus, mate. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Well, we obviously, yeah, let's connect.
Hang on, that's only room one.
Oh, you don't need to bring, you won't need to bring any of that with you. I've got enough crap here.
You've got a baby.
Typical of us musos.
You have a brand
collecting
Right?
shit.
Oh, my God, a whole piano. Oh, my God.
And let's see, vocal booth in here, which you run a
Oh, awesome, man.
Rode K2.
Awesome.
There's a jazz chorus down there, Vox AC30. So yeah,
Yeah, choice.
yeah. So yes,
Yep.
I did go a little bit overboard for a home studio.
Oh, well, I know where you're coming from, my friend.
Yeah,
I used to manage a music store, so back in the day.
yeah. That's one of the
Awesome.
racks.
Well, Betty's got my email, bro. So if you are heading these ways, yeah, please stop in and or actually give me an email, and I'll let you know where to come. And she's all good, mate.
Yes.
And actually, Betty, if you can let Sean know as well if he's coming over these ways for that Living Festival or whatever. And
Will
Dave,
do.
what was it? Yeah, let them know
Yeah.
because I'd like to actually be part of that. That'd be awesome.
For sure.
That'd be cool.
For sure. I'll pass on the details, mate.
Yeah, so if everybody can jump on the band, I'd rather them jump on the Bandcamp, and I've got down as give 3 to be free. So give those songs to other people as a gift. Those are freedom tokens, okay?
Nice, nice.
So
Also, I've
choose whatever
posted
song you
that
want to
link
just give away.
in the comments, and it's also available on my Telegram. And of course, people can always email me if those options don't work in some way, shape, or form. We've lost our guest again. I'm sure he'll be back momentarily. But yeah, you can email me, nqfreedomnetwork@protonmail.com. If you don't already know, most of you probably heard it so many times you could quote it better than I. But yeah, I'll
And
also take
as of yesterday, I'm a Proton user as well. I'm dumping my all my Google stuff. They want to make all this digital ID stuff for YouTube and so on. There are other options. So
yeah,
I'm off. I'm done. It's not about running away. It's not about running away. It's about having some degree of freedom.
Yeah,
You know?
oh, that's it. I'm curious to see what's going to come of the next few months, in particularly here in the tyrannical state of Australia. Are we going to be able to use the internet? Will the podcast even be able to function? Am I going to have to run through I'm not sure what we're going to see. There may be some disruptions coming shortly, but we'll keep playing as usual as much as we can. But we'll see what happens. I don't know what's the future holds at the moment. They will make our lives fucking painful, that's for sure.
Going to stop the what do you call it when you portal through and you're coming up in a different location?
Teleport?
No. VPN. Virtual. They're going to be banning those. Yeah, so totally out of control.
But once again, if you're contracted to them, then they've got control over you. If you're not contracted to them, they have no control over you. If you've voted or you've enrolled to vote for these people, then you're fucked. You've entered contract with them. Now they say that you have to because it's illegal unless you don't, and you'll be fined, right? But they can't fine you unless you've actually contracted.
That is true.
Well, you also have to admit that you've done wrong, because they'll send you a notice saying apparently you didn't vote, and it's up to you then to respond, and as I've responded in the past, it's a case of, what do you mean I voted? Prove that I didn't.
Well, once again, when was slavery abolished in your country?
Oh, I can't remember the exact date, but I have to state that it never really was. Still got birth certificates.
Well, that's only if you consent to the fraud of that birth certificate, and that's why I removed myself from it completely.
Yeah.
That they created the birth certificate. I didn't. So he who creates owns. That's copyright law.
Yeah.
So I have no control over that title, and that's all they own. They only own a title. They don't own the land.
Yeah.
They only own the title.
A dead fictional entity.
This is it, man. And if you want to put yourself as that title because it was given to you by your mum and dad, I get that. However, the actual written thing down on a piece of paper, that spell on a piece of paper, was created by the corporation, because your mum and dad didn't need to. Your mum and dad didn't need to write it down. They just called you it. Hence why te reo is a spoken language. You see where I'm coming from? Anything that's written down in English on a piece of paper is void because it's not official.
Yep.
That's true.
Word written down can hang a man. Quote of the day.
This is it, my friend. And once again, if you don't consent and you withdraw all consent, they've got nothing on you. The only way they can do it is by trespassing on your body and on your, by basically kidnapping you or raping you or basically just taking over you. That's the only way they can do it. And they may do that. All right. But you've got to be prepared for that if that's going to happen. Like tomorrow morning, I might get a knock on the door and say, blah, 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 and this is how it's going to be. I'll just say, well, basically, you better come with whatever you've got, because all my neighbors know what I've done. The whole neighborhood knows what I've done. I went down and told them all.
And how did your neighbours respond, out of curiosity? Did everybody just go, yeah, okay, mate, righto? Did they hand you a tinfoil hat?
Well, no, some people were like, oh, okay. And some people were like, well, I don't really give a fuck what you do, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and which is, but at least I've gone around and get, just like the council sends you a notice out to say that we're going to be putting up these 5G towers or we're going to be putting up these LED lights. And if you don't do
I
anything
don't
about
remember
it,
getting that notice about the 5G towers. I think they just went and fucking did it.
They didn't. That's right. It's called tacit agreement because nobody did anything about it. So if you wanted to take these down, as far as Carl Washington was concerned, all you've got to do is put a notice out to the neighbourhood and say, I'm going to take these down. And if anyone's got any claim against it, you need to come and see me by this time. And if they don't rebut it, then you get to take them down.
It's an interesting one. Yeah.
Well,
oh,
it is.
I mean, again, it all sounds great in theory. It's what happens when you actually do it. So I'm curious to see what comes of like your scenario where you've removed everything from the council. I'm surprised somebody hasn't come knocking on your door saying, "Where's our money?" I mean, I know,
Well,
you know, of an
but I
Indigenous
don't own
fella
it.
here who did that, you know, and basically said, well, I'm an Indigenous elder. I own my house. You demonstrate how I owe you some fucking money. Otherwise, go get fucked. And they basically just come and sold his house from underneath him and used native title to remove him from his own home.
But the difference is that I sold this property. I don't own it.
Yeah, I know it's a different strategy. As I'm curious. It's a
I don't
very
possess
unique perspective.
I don't possess anything because I don't need to possess it. It's okay to use it, and anybody can use it if they've been invited in to use it. Like anybody, yourself, if you want to come for a holiday, you're welcome to come over here and use it too, bro.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from?
I've never left the country, unless you count Tasmania as leaving the country. I've always been here. I've bounced around a lot, you know, and there's still plenty of Australia to see. You know, I've been to most major, pretty much all the major cities.
Yeah.
You know, and various other regional areas, but yeah, still a lot to see. Big country.
Yeah, I spent a couple of years, 2.5 years overseas, did the old pyramids, and I stood on top of the World Trade Center before that came down, and saw quite a bit as I travelled around and got to see different cultures and bits and pieces as you do, you know, which is quite good. And I'm glad I had the chance to do that. I'm just a bit sucky that some of my family won't be able to do that if it carries on the way it's going to happen. Because they're not going to want anybody jumping on any planes, are they?
No, they said
that is
they want to call lockdown in 15-minute cities.
Yeah.
Well, this is it.
Batty,
So,
I'm going to say good night. I've got to start early in the morning.
No,
Nice
you're
meeting
all
you,
right,
bro.
mate. Thanks for popping in, man.
Yeah, flick me an
Have a
email,
good one,
bro.
guys. I'll get that from Batty, mate.
I'll pass on your details. Actually, you better shoot me an email with your new email address, brother.
I've already done it.
Okay, cool.
Is that in my NQ Freedom Network one?
Yep.
Beauty. Oh, actually, you did too. I seen that the other day. Fuck, brain fart. No worries. Yeah, cool. All right, I'll sort all that out. All right, you take care, man. We'll have to catch up for a beer soon, and we'll have to do some jamming before you fuck off. You know, we've been talking about it for God knows how bloody long now.
Yeah,
years.
It's not like you can't. We can't say there's not enough guitars around.
No, there's plenty of instruments. It's not enough time, you know.
Yeah,
but we'll work on something. And we've got to make the time. No more excuses.
Right. Have a good one.
Take it easy, buddy. Cheers.
See you, mate. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, where was I going to go? I had something and then I've lost it. I need another drink, obviously. That's right. We're talking about traveling, you know. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I was going to say. I always thought if I was going to leave the country, it would be with the guitar in my hand, you know. And the bands never took off, unfortunately. Not to the extent that we could travel outside of, you know, the country.
So most of your band fellas are in the same sort of mind space as you, or completely different?
No. Maybe that's why the bands were destined to fail. I think I was the only one that could really see what was coming and how things were going to be, you know. Yeah. I tried to get a lot of messages out, and I mean, I remember one I was in a band called Convicted Souls. I think you could probably find bits and pieces of it on the old MySpace. Let's go back. Yeah.
You
The
are
band
old.
was convicted. Yeah, I've been around for a while. I learned HTML coding, man, you know, and that was before fucking it became relevant for MySpace. But anyway,
Well,
yeah, I had this one song I wrote called Worlds of Words, and I'll have to re-record it because I don't think we ever got a good recording of it. It's only some really shitty live ones. And from time to time, the vocalist I had at the time, because I was just playing guitar at that point, he'd always introduce the song as, well, Buddy wrote this song. I don't really know what the fuck it's about. I've never been able to make any sense of it. But he'd sing it anyway, you know?
yeah.
And like, it's one of those moments similar to what you were saying, kind of writing a song for the future in a lot of cases. I go back and every time I go back and look at the words, it makes more sense to me now than it did back then when I wrote it.
Well, that's exactly what a lot of my songs have done over the years. I write the song, and then a few years later, they will come to fruition. It's been absolutely crazy, man. With some of the songs that I look back on, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that it was all about now. It's all just going like the marbles is just going bong 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 bong, you know. Especially like the song Judgment Day was. Actually, I'll tell you what the words are. Images appear in the darkness. They shadow my inner thoughts with pain. You crucify my mentality to your own special gain. For I have hurt you with no thoughts unturned. History repeats itself. Now it's my time to burn. It ain't wrong. It ain't right. It ain't black. It ain't white. What's the answer? Do you know? It's Judgment Day, babe. Let's start the show. Show's very important. Classic memories haunt my mind. Invasion of space, killing my time. Whispering envy provokes critical acclaim. The emptiness of a song without knowing its name. What's the other one? It's been a long time since I read these words out. But I suppose where I'm coming from is, another one was Murphy's Law will help you to choose. And mate, that's sat with me for the last 5 years, like you can't imagine. It's choosing which way you're going to choose, you know. And Murphy's a cunt. You know what I mean? You know?
Yep, definitely.
But I suppose the only thing that's actually put me through, my friend, is that all this stuff came to me without influence. This is all through the musical, or what I call the spiritual connection, or the numerology, the triple nines and all that sort of stuff. That's where it got me, and I can't argue with that, because it's actually what happened. You know, even the word judgment adds up as 9. The word the title of the album was called The Beginning, and beginning adds up to 9. I'm Me, which comes from the title of the band was called Time. And I put my tuner on the top of my guitar, which I had Time on the top of it, and it took away the T, and I was just left with I'm Me, and that's where I'm Me came from.
Right.
And I'm Me adds up to 9, and I didn't realize all these nines and all these nines only just turned up in the last 2 months.
How much like the full moon is on the 9th, not the 8th, even though it looks like it's a full moon. It's funny, isn't it?
Well, it is like the 9th of the 9th of the 9th. Next month, my friend, being that's 2025, and that adds up to 9. You know. And like I said, that's the end of a cycle and the start of a new. And I'll just go back to asking the people out there that are still listening. I don't know if they're still listening. They're probably gone to bed by now.
Oh no, there's plenty. There's more here now than when we started.
Really?
We're up to 277 currently watching live.
Oh, you got nothing better to do.
You don't insult the audience. They might not want to come back again.
No, crack up. No, it's yeah. No, look, you know, it's our chance to really dig deep inside our souls, because they want to harvest our souls. They want to take everything that's creative, that's good from us, all these lyrics, all these songs that I just created, they want to steal that from us. They want to harvest that. They want to put it online. They want to fucking store it in these AI centers. And then they want to download that shit into an AI human bot or whatever the fuck they're called. Old Elon Musk bullshit. And once they've got our souls, they no longer need us. Because we'll just be in the ready verse or the future verse or the fucking better verse or whatever the fuck it is, traveling around in the fucking matrix thinking we're still alive and still fucking going for it. But it's the harvest version of us. But the body and the real natural God-given fucking thing that was walking on this land will be no more. And that's where I see it going, my friend. And this is where I'm a little bit anti with the AI, my friend. So even though it's a tool, I see, as you'll see with the musical, I see AI as the Antichrist.
It's
Okay?
not. I wouldn't. Again, it comes down to what you use it for. I wouldn't use it to make music. I mean, some people do. I think Michael does, and like best of luck to him. That's great. If that works for them, that's okay. I'm not going to tell people they shouldn't do something. You know, if it works for them, it works for them. Personally, I'd much rather create it myself. I've got the instruments, I've got all the tools and all the toys. What I don't have is the time. And I guess that's where, you know, something like a tool like AI does come in, because, well, I haven't got the time. Let's get AI to quickly whip something up for me, which it's sad. And I think it destroys the creative process. And I guess we are in this biblical quickening construct, you know, where we don't have the time to do that, which we would like. And, you know, me being me, I've got my hand in too many pies. I can't eat them all. So, yeah.
So do you work during the day too?
It's a pie eating competition I lost before I began. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. I see Michael and the songs that are being created by AI are they're pretty awesome. His lyrics are fantastic, you know. And there's, I'm not going to dispute that in any way, shape, or form. But I think I need a playwright to help me to write this musical, as far as putting it actually onto a stage, and having some sort of theme going through. Now I could just get AI to do that for me.
But it'd be nice to actually have someone like Michael do it instead. And then you get that personal interaction, and you're dead right. You know, like you using AI in that regard it is taking away that human interaction, is taking away those moments, it is taking away those connections that we would have as
it's taking away our kids, bro. You know, it's
I mean, where I use it for calculation purposes. Like, oh, cool, I'm interested in, you know, this stock, you know, what's a good price point, quickly calculate this, where's this going, you know. And I still use my own mind. I'll still look at information and whatnot, but once I've sort of you know, I've kind of narrowed the field, it's a case of, all right, cool, now let's get AI to quickly filter and find something that I need. I want to learn real fast because I haven't got the time, you know. But yeah, I couldn't imagine using it for anything creative that I'd care about. So I might use it to, you know, knock up a quick image that I'm going to use in a podcast because I'm only going to use it once. It's a disposable fucking item, you know. That would be something I would use it for. But if I'm going to, you know, like the background and stuff in this podcast, I created that from my own artwork. I haven't gone and used that from fucking AI or anything, you know. The introduction sequence to the podcast, I created all that. I wrote all the music. Everything has been created by my own hand, you know. Because that's stuff that I know I'm going to use. It's important to me. It needs to come from me. I couldn't possibly use AI to do that, you know. But again, like I said, the tool, I'll use it in the right place with the right intent.
The only downside is and it's not just you that's aware of this, but everybody that's listening right now knows that the nefarious people that created AI control AI. He who creates, owns, and controls. So the control that you think that you have over it, not trying to be offensive to anybody that thinks that they have their own destiny in their own hands, but it's going to be taken away from you faster than you can imagine. I mean, I just heard today 300 million jobs. This is from Goldman Sachs. 300 million jobs are going to go, bro.
Yeah.
In the next couple of years. So that's all musicians. That's all musicians, bro. You know? You know,
Yeah.
everything that you create, that you could write all the intros for all the podcasts, right? And then give those to people for free. At least they know where that came from. As long as you've got a freezer full of food, and you've got good spring water, and you've got your mates and your community around you, what else do you need?
Yeah.
If you need gold, well, hey, you're on the wrong hemisphere. You know, if you need gold and all these riches, well, we're on a totally different subject. You know. If we take it back to the simplicity, as I was saying earlier, you know, it's about removing shit. It's not about fucking carrying on with the same bullshit. Because they fed us Bitcoin, bro. They gave it to us a long time ago, so we got used to it.
Well, that's one thing
Yeah.
I always wondered too with the idea of Bitcoin. Like, it seems like a wonderful thing, and obviously it's gone up in value. But you know, when it first came out, I thought, who the fuck's going to go on for this bloody shit? You got to be shitting me. This will be gone within a few weeks. But amazingly, it kept going, and you know, the mystery. We don't know who created it, blah, all this sort of shit. Well, I mean,
I heard DARPA created it, bro. So
I would be inclined to agree. It would be something to that effect. I dare say that the big banks, have got something to do with it. It's always been part of their agenda to create a digital currency. You know,
well, it's just the precursor, right, man? You know.
yeah. So I mean, again, how I mean, the banks, if the banks were selling it straight away, nobody would have touched it. But because it comes from this mysterious thing, and hang on, something that was worth fuck all is now worth a shitload. It has a substance. People are going for it, you know. And it was something I heard today, talking about the COVID thing, you know, and how I think it was on Redacted, and they were saying that fundamentally, it looks like the whole China lab leaks theory was a load of shit, and it was just a counter narrative point to make it look like there was actually a virus when in fact there wasn't. And I instantly thought, you know what? David Icke said straight away from the word go that there was no virus. He's like, oh, I mean, I reckon there isn't a virus at all. And it's interesting. And as soon as I seen that, and I thought of David Icke, and then I thought back to some of the stuff I've seen Jared Rennick say recently when he's been on tour here. He was saying, well, you know, things like what did you know, climate change used to be called? The weather. What did COVID used to be called? The flu. You know, it's just renaming and rebadging things. It's like there was no real COVID. There was no COVID. They just fucking rebadged the flu and convinced a whole bunch of people of a pandemic that never fucking happened. And, you know, they created both arguments for the story. They created the, you know, the wet market fucking bat soup. And then the counterpoint was China virus leaking. Again, China was the enemy all along, you know, in either scenario. But the question was, which story was true? I'm inclined to believe both stories were bullshit.
It's the show. It's the show, eh, bro?
Mm.
It's to keep you distracted, you know. But in the background, the actual real truth was Bill Gates' ID 2020 that he brought out in 2016.
Mm.
And what that is, when he said in 2016 he wanted to inject everybody with an address, with a digital ID.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was what was actually happening, and who was behind getting all the vaccines and the WHO? Obviously, the Bill Gates Foundation, as everybody already knows now, you know. And there's proof of the Mac ID addresses coming up all across the world as we speak. You know, I've seen it with my own eyes myself. You know, I saw it on phone the other day. So you know, it's you know, obviously you've got the. I'm not a funeral director, so I haven't seen it with my own eyes. And it's not like I don't believe the John I. Looney and all that, but I haven't seen it with my own eyes, so I can't guarantee it. Whereas I have seen the Mac ID addresses with my own eyes, so I can guarantee it. You know what I'm saying? So it's because there's a shitload of distractions to keep us all distracted and look over here while we're setting up the 5G towers over lockdowns all across the world all at the same time. And all the LED street lights go up at the same time across the world. And then all of a sudden, all these face recognition or cameras go in. Then all of a sudden, all these license plate readers go in all over the country. Yeah, that the whole thing was a distraction so they could set up the surveillance network. And it's called surveillance capitalism. That's what it's called,
Mm.
surveillance capitalism. That was what was written down in the Lockstep paper back in 2012. Surveillance capitalism, where they can just keep surveilling you and making capital off you based on fining you because you walked on the wrong property, or making
Yeah.
everything a company, like making mountains companies, making seas and rivers companies. They want to corporatize every freaking living space on the earth.
Yeah, and
So,
they make
you
a
know,
lot more money out of compliant people who do as they're told, as opposed to
well,
the criminals who, do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, this is it, and we're down to that. We're down to that judgment day where we're either going to accept it and just go along with it, and basically, if you go along with it, that means, well, basically, you can't open that freezer door until you get your next injection.
Yeah,
You can't walk into the shop until you get your next injection, because we can see on your digital ID that you haven't had it. So until you get your last thing, you're not going to be able to walk in the store or even open up the cupboard. So we have a choice, and that's the only thing we do have is a choice.
yeah. Well, we're supposed to live in a realm of free will, so they say. So,
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like much of a choice, but we do have a
well,
choice.
that's it. It's much like Israel saying, Palestine's a willful evacuation. It's kind of like, well, we've just dropped a bomb in your house. The fuse is lit and it's going off in 60 seconds. It's your choice whether you leave or not.
Yeah.
Not much of a choice.
But once again, we can give notice to the whole neighborhood and say we're taking all these 5G towers down on this certain date, and if anybody's got any problem with it, come and see me.
Well, I think the first stage, obviously, is to get
You know what I'm
enough
saying?
people awakened and ready to go. And sadly, a lot of people I speak to around, have the defeatist or defeated before we begin attitude. Which is we can't do anything. It's already over.
Well,
And particularly amongst, like people of an older persuasion. I've encountered this a bit in the last week or so.
Yeah.
It was like, well, it's all good and well. You can clearly see things are fucked, and your attitude is, well, you'll be dead in a few years. It won't matter. What about your kids? What about your grandkids? Like, that's part of your life too. It's part of your longevity is them surviving.
Yeah.
I'll be dead in a few years attitude's pretty fucking selfish.
Well, I stood on the lands of Gallipoli, my friend, and I could feel the blood coming through the land. You know what I'm saying? And I knew the slaughter of what that was about. As they were saying earlier, it was just about money. It was about cashing in on those bonds. That's all that was about, mate. It was commerce. It was commerce. It was nothing to do with anything else apart from getting rid of all these young fellows.
Yeah, every war has always been that way. We're keeping the population down and making a shitload of money at the same time. Isn't it funny how we can make these people go and fight for us?
And they do it, and they consent to it under this flag, under this maritime flag. Yeah. So, and this is why I come back to that Brady fella that was Michael just interviewed earlier, the stand in the park thing. And I'm just going to put it out. I'll put it out to the universe right now on the 9th of the 9th of the 9th, which I think is a Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
And who cares if it's a Tuesday, a Sunday, or Saturday, or whatever the hell it is? But that's the end of the era, the start of the new. Okay, it's a big day, and I'm going to ask people, and that they're either going to have a go or they're not going to have a go. As I want to ask people to come together all on that day and create a daisy chain, hand to hand, throughout the city or wherever you're going to be. Maybe you guys can organize where you want to do it. But I just want as many people, whether it's 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, all daisy chained together in unity, in harmony on that day. We've got a whole month to put it out there. And I'm going to ask every podcast that's listening now, and I want everybody that's listening to ask every podcast to actually make this happen. And I want Brady, the guy that's standing in the park, he's the guy that instigated this, not me. He's the guy that stood there by himself for week on week on week, trying to make a difference across the earth. And there was nobody there for week on week on week on week. And then all of a sudden, one person turned up. And then all of a sudden, 5 people turned up. Then all of a sudden, 50. Then all of a sudden, 100. Then all of a sudden, 1,500 people. You know what I'm saying? And if we could do that for Brady, because he stood up and he's been lawful, that's all he did. And if I want you to take the Tuesday off, and I want you to do this, because there's nothing more important than right now. There is nothing more important. If you want to make gold, forget about everything that I've just talked about today, and go make gold. You know, we have a choice. We either
Yeah.
it's the judgment day.
It's sad. You go, well, it's Tuesday. Fuck, I've got to work. I've got to pay the bills. Is the first thing that pops into my mind. You know, and it's fucked.
Well,
That's the
hey.
first thing that pops into my mind.
Yeah, I'm just saying, why the fuck not?
Mm.
Is work more important?
Well, when it comes to feeding my family, it kind of is. It's and that's fucking. It pisses me off to no end. You know, don't get me wrong. It pisses me off. Like, yeah, every day I'm like, fuck me. Why am I wasting my time doing this shit? There's so many other things we should be doing.
But if 100,000 people said to you, bro, we need you down here to hold our hands, I'm sure you probably do it.
Oh, look, I'm sure I could find a time at some point, at some stage of the day to do it. Perhaps we say, you know, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, 5 o'clock, you know, usually knock on
9 o'clock
door,
in the morning,
but,
9 o'clock in
know,
the morning.
Well, I can't do 9 o'clock in the morning. I could do 6 o'clock in the morning, you know. You know, so it's got to be outside of standard hours, really, to be, you know, it's not in the realm of impossibility, you know. And I think you'd probably catch more people with the, all right, cool, if we do it at, you know, 7 o'clock at night or whatnot. We'll gather on the beach and do it on the beach or something. That's the first thing that popped into my head. So, fellow Townsvillians, if you think that's a good idea, we'll say, what is it, the 9th? Maybe we should do it at 9 o'clock on the 9th.
That's what I'm saying.
Might be a bit late.
The 9th. Yeah. Well,
9 o'clock,
well,
9 p.m. on the 9th on a Tuesday. Well, let's pick a beach somewhere in Townsville, and we'll hook up and see how many we can get. You know, if we can get more than 10, I'll be impressed.
But I'm also going to ask everybody from this land here, which I call Free Kiwi land. I don't call it the company called New Zealand. Because the land here, as part of the sale, it's now been declared Free Kiwi land. It's the whole underneath the soil and above, the airspace above, is now free of all legal jurisdiction, as I said, as part of what I've just done. Now, if everybody did what I did, everybody's land would be free of the legal jurisdiction. Just think about that for a second.
All right, Bitcoin Jason's in. It'll be me and Bitcoin Jason at this point, 9 p.m. on the 9th. We'll have to come up with a beach, brother. What do you reckon? Should we go the Strand? Should we go Pelaranda? What do you reckon? You know, I actually discovered that Strand is actually the German word for beach. That's why there's so many strands all throughout the fucking place. Isn't that fascinating? Anyway, just a recent discovery while learning German. Let's make signs, says Bitcoin Jason. All right, we'll see what we can do, brother. We'll see what we can do. We'll have to hook up, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, bro. Like I said, if you feel like you want to go for a travel and you want to bring your family over and you can get across on the plane without all the bullshit.
I'm going to have to get it. I'll have to be able to go and get bloody passports and, you know,
all that rubbish.
Again, government contracts. Street, look, you know, I'd like to say that I'm financially well off. I'm not. And there's quite a few in the family. There's 6 of us here. So look, I potentially one day I'll make it over to New Zealand in some way, shape, or form. Man, I'd love to come and sit down and have a beer with you, brother.
Awesome.
You know, I've got to leave the country at some point, I guess. You know, I always figured at this point in my life it'd probably be in a body bag, you know, or spiritually leaving. You know, I don't see the body leaving. I think it was born here. It's going to die here, I think.
Of the land, bro. Of the land.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
some of the ideas you've had here, I'll have to bounce off some of the Indigenous fellas we've been bouncing ideas with. There's a few things we got in the works that I can't say too much about at this point until we got it worked.
Yeah.
For how things could be done. But I like the idea of calling New Zealand free Kiwi land, because it's a concept. And I don't know, all you listeners, viewers out there at the moment, what are your thoughts? I'm curious to see what the general public thinks. But the conversations I've had with some of the Indigenous people is we can't call this Australia anymore. I mean,
No.
who decided to call it that in the first place? That's a question I'll have to find in the history books. Who come up with the name Australia? Why? How? When did that come to pass? Because I don't recall ever sitting in a classroom saying, well, so-and-so on such and such a date decided we're going to call this place Australia for this, that, and the other reason. It's almost like it just fucking happened somehow, and nobody seems to have ever explained it. If anybody knows the answer to that question, please punch it into the fucking comments. I want to know. But, you know, again, there's 369 tribes here. So there's 369 countries as far as, you know, from the Indigenous point of view here on this land. You know, on the continent there's 369 countries or tribal boundaries. You know, one thing that it's good to see is that the Indigenous tribes are trying to come together in some way, shape, or form. How's it going to happen? Great Southern Land. That's a good point. That's not a bad one. A good song too. It's a good suggestion. But yeah, we do need a new name. We need a new flag, and we need to fuck off this corporate shit.
Well,
and it needs to be done with
if you're going to go,
the, you know, the Indigenous people, with everybody who's been born here. And I think that's a very important thing too. Like, nobody should be running any form of government if you are not born of this land.
That's right.
You know, if you
You
know, no more
land. That's right.
can't come in off the boat, fucking go to some socialist indoctrination center for a few years and become a politician. That shit's got to fucking end. You know, you need to be of the land.
The other thing I was thinking, like this, I thought 5 years ago, that anybody that wanted to come to this land, if this ever eventuated, and I'll try and manifest it as much as I can, that anybody can come here for free and have free accommodation, free food, and free experience of this land.
Yeah.
But they do have to go again. They can't stay here. They do have to go back to where they came from.
Yeah.
But when they do come here, everything will be free.
Nice. Wonderful idea.
Try to get your head around that shit.
No, not hard at all for me. I have no that was so easy to digest. It was almost as good as you know, a naturally made burger.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, but I like some of the suggestions that have come through here. Terrafulius. Fuck off, we're full. Same comes to mind. You know, I know it was called New Holland at some point. Yeah, you're right. I do remember saying it was called New Holland, but who decided to call it Australia? How did that come to pass? Like, I don't remember ever being taught that in school.
Does it have to be called one name?
Well, that's a good point too. You know, I mean, again, you think of the concept of the word God, you know, and there's so many different words for said entity, you know, and as I've always stated, if there was such an entity so omnipotent and so all powerful, do you really think such an entity would give a fuck as to what name you assigned it? It's the intent, not the
basically,
word.
Where I got with Free Kiwi land, underneath that, I've got God's own underneath that. So it's actually called Dad's Place. Dad's Place. It's Dad's Place on Free Kiwi land, God's own. And there's a sign out the front that's telling the whole neighborhood.
Fair enough.
So, like I say, if you declare it and it's your will, and I've done it lawfully, it's not like I'm trying to take the piss out of anybody. I've done everything right. I've sold the property. I don't own it anymore, but I am the kaitiaki. I do have right of removal for anybody that walks on the property under that contract as they walk in the door. Just as if you walk into Bunnings or your supermarket and they say, well, we're going to ask you to move on or do whatever the case be, because under the terms and conditions of you walking in, we can actually trespass you. So what I'm doing is what they're doing to us.
Yeah. And it's an interesting concept because, and it goes back to, the way I understand it, and any Indigenous out there who want to correct me, please feel free. But as I understand, as like, well, nobody owns the land. We're all a part of the land. We are of the land,
This is it. This is why I got rid of
and
ownership.
it was a concept first thrown to me when watching fucking Crocodile Dundee. That it's like
bro. Yeah.
two fleas arguing over the back of the dog it lives on.
True that.
Brilliant idea, wonderful way of putting it. But that's an idea that's been in my head for so long. But because of the indoctrination that we go through, the idea has been wrestled. It's like, okay, cool, I see that and I get it, and it makes perfect fucking sense. But how do we deal with this scenario in the ridiculous construct that we call society today? How do we transform? A bit more of an Autobot as opposed to a Decepticon. How do we transform that old, idea, or back to that old idea that we are of the land, that nobody fucking owns it and nobody has a right to fucking own it, but we have a right to exist here, at the same time. Well, I'm in this house, I'm in this little bit of dirt, should do we still have the right to? And it starts getting scary from a certain point of view, when you start looking at what the UN's trying to say, where, why should anybody own anything, so
well, the thing is, when you're a kaitiaki, you're not owning anything. All right, but you still,
which is what the UN's fundamental and the globalists want. They want you to not own anything and them to dictate how it's used.
But this is the difference. When you don't own it, but you're the kaitiaki, because under that non-disclosure agreement that you did with the buyer, right, which is exactly what Jacinda did with Pfizer over here, a non-disclosure agreement, NDA, right? Under that agreement, the whole legal jurisdiction's been removed, so they no longer have control over the land in any way, shape, or form. And by walking in that gate, that whole jurisdiction, the whole legal the big bubble of shit I was talking about, has been removed. It's as simple as that. And by entering, you agree to the terms of contract.
Yep. It's the maintenance of that system, though. Like, I mean, I agree with you. It makes sense, That's like, but we're arguing over two concepts at this point, because these government agencies claim that they have it. They've got the weapons and the militia, the goon squad. Although they're struggling to hold on to their goon squad because nobody wants to be a part of their goon squad. Amazing. Nobody wants to sign up to be in military service anymore than they want to sign up to be a copper. Like that says a lot about the government as far as I'm concerned, because at the end of the day, people don't want to support that system.
Well, like I said, if the government's coming here, we're going to come here with the goon squad and try to overcome me, basically come in here and say, well, it's going to be corporate land and you got no fucking choice. Well, that's called slavery. It's against their own law. And I have to try and protect myself. But this is the next thing I had, and I don't know if you've seen it on my thing, but I've put out a challenge to anybody that believes, which is not fact, or assumes, which is not fact, that they have authority over me, my property, or anything that they could administer me in any way, shape, or form. If they can provide a contract that I signed willingly and a fully informed contract to say that I actually gave them authority over my property, myself, my body, my kids, anything that's been around me, then obviously I'll suck their cock or whatever the fuck I've got to do. But they won't be able to produce that because I would never fucking sign it. Who the fuck would? Would you sign up to slavery if you had a choice? Would you sign up to slavery if you had a choice? Of course you wouldn't.
Well, it's not slavery at that point because it's become consensual.
So where I'm coming from is they can't produce their contract. So the only way they can do it is by breaking their own law, which they put in place, called slavery was abolished in 1840. They're fucked either way, bro. They're fucked either way.
I'm inclined to agree with Bitcoin Jason at this point. They have the force. I believe they intend to use it. And I think that's why the most integral part of the final stage for the elitist scum is AI robot fucking enforcement. Because as we've seen so many times in the past, human cops, human soldiers will turn around and go, you know what? Fuck these people. I'm not playing this game.
Well, sooner
Whereas
or
a
later
programmed
they're going to be
machine
replaced,
won't.
aren't they? They're
Mm,
going to be replaced
yeah.
with all these drones and fucking bots and shit. So the
Mm.
sooner the later, the sooner that the police right now and all these, I don't know, security guards or army or whatever these guys that are enforcement officers for this corporation,
Mm.
they're going to be losing their jobs as part of this plan, and they're going to be replaced
Well,
with
nobody
AI,
wants the
you know?
job anyway, by the look of it.
Well, hey, you know what a fucking should have a
Yeah,
job, you know?
it would be a kind of a job, you know. That's the thing, you know. It was interesting to see during COVID 1984, you know, people arguing logically with the coppers, and the only thing they could say is, well, it's the job, and it's my job, and it's the only job I know how to do. And it does my head in when I see so many people, I only know how to do this job. What? You can't think
Well,
your way out of this wet paper bag?
But once again, they're going to offer you to go into contract. Cal Washington, the Empower Movement, which the Living Free Festival fella, they're going to offer you to go into contract of commerce. Okay. Now, if you
Yeah.
consent to being, yep, if you consent to being that commercial title, then you're fucked. If you want to enter into contract, but basically talking in English, which is commerce, you're talking in commerce with these people that want to put you in commerce.
Mm.
So silence is golden. Firstly, secondly, they're going to say, "I'm going to read you your rights, and do you understand it?" And the first thing you're going to say to them is that, "Well, you told me that I have the right to remain silent, don't I?"
Mm.
That's what you just told me. I have the right to remain
Yeah.
silent, don't I?
Yeah.
So why
Sure,
would
I
you
don't have the
agree?
right to remain
Why would
silent.
you? You just told me that I have the right to remain silent, so I'm going to just leave it at that.
Yep, that's a good one. And
Well, that's
of course, you don't want to stand under anyone.
Well, this is it. So you're not going to acknowledge that, are you?
Mm.
So basically, that's the end of the contract. They can't put you in contract because they just told you had the right to remain silent. So I was like, well, yep, sweet, it's all good. Cheers.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I mean, at the end of the
That's
day, if these guys come around tomorrow and decide, no, I want to get rid of this fella because he's a fucking loudmouth and we don't want anybody to hear what this guy's got to say, and then we're fucking going to get rid of this guy, or we're going to fucking do something nasty to this guy.
And he was on the North Queensland Freedom Network. What more excuse do we need?
Yeah, exactly. If anybody wants to help support me, if I'm no longer here, like John McAfee, if I'm no longer here from this point onwards, if they could just jump onto Bandcamp and share those songs out as much as they can. And if I do end up fucking not being here, there is also an email there that you can push on there and donate some cash, which will go to help my family if I'm not here. But if I am here, we should be sweet.
Yeah. Well,
So,
but
I
make
like-
sure you
and,
film as much as you can and stream it wherever you can, and make sure your closest friends and family know to get whatever footage you get out to me ASAP, so we can
Well,
share the word.
Well, the thing is, like I said, the whole neighborhood already knows.
Yeah.
So if shit goes down, all these people already know. So they're going to have to blow up the whole neighborhood first, which they probably could. They did Lahaina and they did LA. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But not only that, all you guys know, everybody listening tonight knows.
Yeah.
All right. So this is my insurance. And the other thing I'm going to put out there to any so-called authority, because I don't give them authority until I actually give it to them. If I haven't given you authority, you have no authority. It's as simple as that. I'm not trying to be some king or fucking some sort of whatever the fuck you want to call me. Unless I actually give you authority, you actually have none, because I'm not your fucking slave bitch. Simple as that. So I'm going to put out a challenge, and it's a duel. I'm going to put out a duel to anybody that has any who believes that they have authority over me or my property in any way, shape, or form. And the duel is going to be with 2 Nerf guns, with Nerf gun bullets, because I don't want to hurt or harm anybody.
I like it.
Okay. So
Nerf gun
and
war.
the winner, a Nerf gun war, and the first person to lose loses everything. I lose all the land, everything, and you get to take everything that's mine. But if I win, the person that tried to put the authority over me loses everything they've got. And I'm putting this to the Prime Minister, the President, Bill Gates, fucking, I don't give a fuck it, Klaus Schwab, whoever the fuck it is. I don't care.
Mm.
If you believe that you have authority, which you don't, because I never gave it to you, here's a Nerf gun challenge that all these people listening tonight can share it out. And you're my insurance to see if we can actually take back this world with one Nerf gun fight. Let's do it. I don't want to hurt
pretty
anybody.
funny.
It's a Nerf gun.
At the very least, it's possibly one of the most entertaining ideas I've ever heard.
Well, there's some say it's a jewel, bro.
Mm.
I'm literally putting up a fucking jewel to say what it takes all.
It's like let's have a sword fight with a bunch of pool noodles.
It's as simple as that, my friend. I'm not out to hurt anybody or trespass on anybody. But if you want to come here and try to administer me as your property, then we're going to have to get that sorted out real quickly.
I think first things first, we need to get all the world leaders together and have them actually fight it out with real weapons, and whichever one's left standing then gets to partake in the Nerf gun war.
Well, as soon as one goes, they all go. Because I'm putting this out to Elon Musk, I'm putting this out to Trump, I'm putting this out to Netanyahu, I'm putting this out to fucking Albanese, I'm putting this out to Chris Luxon, I'm putting this out to Macron, if he's still there.
Jason reckons paintball guns, and it makes sense because we can at least see where the fucking bullets landed.
No, I think Nerf guns, because we're just taking the piss out of these fuckwits.
Yes, I figured that as much. I figured as much. Well, my friend,
it's a fucking show, bro. It's a show, eh, bro?
This has been a great show, and I'm so glad that you reached out. And we've had great yarn. I wasn't sure what we were going to get. I do appreciate you giving me the time to do it, bro. You know, no, all good, man. Like, I mean, you know, as an example to anybody, reach out, jump on, let's have a go. Like, I mean, I had no idea what to expect. It was, you know, the last 3 weeks. I've seen a few people say, we haven't seen you in a while. I took some time out to do family stuff. I'm back now. We're going to keep this show going, but the North Queensland Freedom Network, it was fundamentally designed for North Queenslanders, but it is pretty much for everyone. You know, we've had people from New Zealand today. We've had people from Victoria. We've had people who are currently in the UK. You know, it's amazing the reach this network has. Given that, you know, I figured it would spread, but the way it's spread is just astounding. It's brilliant. So, look, thanks heaps for reaching out, mate. And welcome, maybe friend. One day we'll get together in person and go, man, awesome.
Hey, just at the ending there, mate, I've got a song that I just put up there called Opportunity that I just put up there tonight. If you want to play that at the end of your thing. We could do it on Bandcamp, or we could do it on the on Rumble. It's on the videos on Rumble, so all the lyrics are on there. People can see the lyrics.
Can you just quickly shoot? There's a private chat. Shoot me a link directly to it. We'll see what we can do. While you're doing that,
I'll have a crack.
Have a crack. See how you go. While you're sorting that out, I'll just quickly remind everyone of the Living Free Festival that is transpiring on the 22nd through to the 24th of August. I will definitely be giving it my best to try and get down there. I missed last year's, unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances, mostly economic unfortunate circumstances. And if I don't make it this time, it will be, unfortunately, economic circumstances. I will do the best I can to try and find a way to find A, the time, and B, the finances to sort this out. I would love to be there and meet a whole bunch of freedom people. That's just not the most accessible location for me, but I'll see what I can do. If you are keen and you want to jump on at www.livingfreefestival.org, please do use the promo code BADDY. that means that this podcast has actually had an effect. And the guys at Living Free know that I've had some sort of an effect by reaching out. It, you know, helps them figure out their numbers. It helps me, and it helps you because you get a discount as well by using that promo code. So make sure you use the promo code BATTY if you do go and sign up at livingfreefestival.org. Jump on, have a look. I think it'd be great. I fucking really want to be there myself, so I will do everything I can to make it there. You know, it's another unfortunate side effect of the economic shackles that is my existence, is that I'm unable to attend so many of the things I get invited to. I mean, Darren and Daryl invite me to shit all the fucking time, and I just can't afford to take time off work to go and do these things. It worked out well for me because those guys got really crook on the last bloody gathering I was invited to, so I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I didn't end up sick as a dog. But you know, I would like to attend these things a little bit more. So other ways you can help me out though. So I mean, Struth, think about it. Do you want the North Queensland Freedom Network to do this 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, even a couple of weekends or whatnot? Well, I need funding to do that. And, you know, you can jump in through the links and have a look at the 7-day free trial of Gaia. I can get a little bit of funding kickback. There's the free $10 free stake trading app. Use the code MarkB228 and you will get $10 free. And when you transfer funds in Australian accounts, if you transfer into the American Wall Street accounts, they'll give you a free stock. You know, I got Nike. I think it was like fucking $50 at the time, or something like $74 US at the moment. That's free. Nothing, you know. So it's about well over $100 worth of shit I got just for signing up myself. You do the same thing, $100 worth of free shit, and you know, you might be able to make some money. I'm trying to develop a scenario where whatever money I make goes into something that creates more money, such as stocks, where you can get dividends and things like that, and create that passive income, so that I no longer have to worry about a bullshit functional job. I can actually have money come in and then focusing on shit like this, which is so much more important. I'm sure you all agree. You've tuned in to watch live or even after the fact. So yeah, help us out in any way, shape or form. Obviously, we've got the Bitcoin Cash stuff that Jason Bitcoin has helped us set up. Go in there and use all these bits and pieces and bobs. It's all in the descriptions, or email me if you need a hand getting that shit going. That can help us out. And of course, you can always become a Patreon. And again, that's in the descriptions. Thank you to all the amazing Patreons that do chip in. Sadly, there's only, you know, a handful, but that handful does help contribute so that I can punch into buy the bits and bobs of technology that I need to keep this show running. So, you know, I'm not funded by Big Pharma. I'm not funded by anyone else. I'm funded by you, the people. So if you want to help out, and of course, there's people who have actually reached out and gone, look, none of those options appeal to me, Batty, but I want to help you out. And they've reached out and they've found a way to help me out in their own way, shape or form. I don't have my list prepared because I'm really fucking bad today, but you all know who you are. Thank you so much for helping out where you can and how you do. And hey, look, Living Free Festival people, if people from Townsville are going and thinking road trip, let me know. That could help out too. You know, one of the things I'm thinking is, you know, the location being where it is in New South Wales, it's not exactly close to an airport. Even if it was, then we're talking hire car. And you know, again, just crunching the numbers, the cost of the flights, the cost of hiring a car, and then fuel and all the shit. I may as well just fucking drive myself. It's going to, you know, be an extra 4 days, 2 days there and 2 days back traveling. And that's a lot of, I think it worked out about somewhere between 9 and 10 hours driving each day to do that. Just to cut it to a 4 day travel scenario. It's painful, but it wouldn't be so painful with some awesome people to do it with. So if anybody is keen, please drop me an email. Let's sort this out. NQ Freedom Network at protonmail.com. I reckon this could be a worthy road trip. A lot of really good people. I already have friends that I know are there. My good mate Darren's going to be there. What more incentive do I really need? But anyway, I've rabbited on enough, and I've certainly sold the fuck out of that podcast by now. My friend, private
thanks
chat.
again, Betty.
No worries, man. My pleasure. Thanks heaps for coming on, dude. It's been really good. So let's have a look.
Yeah, if everybody could jump on the old Rumba page and give me a follow, just if I put some other music out, you'll obviously get to hear what I'm playing or what I'm doing and stuff like that. And all I want to do is give out what was given to me as a gift from Creator, Spirit, God, whatever you want to call it. Come through me. It's going through to you, all you beautiful people out there, because I know what the struggle is. And I appreciate everybody that's standing up and having a freaking crack at this, mate. And let's do what we can. Much love, much gratitude, much blessings to everyone.
No worries. Thanks heaps for coming on. I'm going to press play and see if we can get this to play through for everybody else. Hopefully it works. Shoot me, shout out into the comments if it's not working, ladies and gentlemen.
Can't hear it.
Check 1, 2. Can anyone hear me?
I can hear you. I can't
Could
hear
you
the
hear
music.
the music? You couldn't hear the music.
I can't hear
That's
the
funny.
music.
'Cause I put the microphone right up to the speaker and I can hear it fucking loud as fuck. That's weird.
Is it coming through on the other people can hear it though? I don't know. Is it stopped?
Ah, all right, cool. I think I'm back. All right. I wonder if it's a microphone setting. It might be the echo cancellation. If I turn that off, let's try that.
That's better. There we go. Narrow away.
This is a big shout out to all you beautiful people of this world who are standing true to yourselves and standing true to your fellow mankind. Every one of you is credits, and I want you to know that if you're standing for what's right, then you are living and existing in reality. You never be programmed or swayed by the pre-described narratives. Every day, more and more people are waking up and exposing these blizzards of ours. I want to see all the love that I have in my heart. I see that all of you, my beautiful people, whatever creed, whatever color. Titles and labels. You are neither. You are mankind, deprogrammed and free.
Solitude, I'm waiting to find my true self. My heart was yearning to find my true wealth. And along came a virus called COVID-19 that programmed the world into going insane. They locked us all down and crushed our lives. From trying to live, just trying to survive. Imprisoned the sick and watched them all die while they're changing the laws just to make us comply. They said just for 2 weeks, just to flatten the curve. Based on one little case, so afraid and absurd. We will keep you informed. We will keep our word. You can trust on us. We are the one source of truth. But some of us knew it was all just a lie, an experiment on maximum shoot replies. They didn't really care if you lived or you died. It was the money at the end, the eye on the prize. It was an opportunity to take control, an opportunity to make some noise, an opportunity to take it all, an opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, an opportunity to make some noise, an opportunity to take it all, an opportunity to change this world. Long before the cure would arrive, by way of crap scene that would save all our lives. Do it for the fun out, we heard all them cry that we stop at nothing to make us all comply. When it didn't work, they kept us from living unless we took the experimental dirty spicy serum. Now everyone's a suspect, a dirty killing machine just for talking without a mask or taking that vaccine. Every damn day we hear safe and effective when everyone around us getting sick and infected while running around in masks thinking they're protected. Ain't gonna lie, I think it's defective, and they sanitize their hands and sanitize their food and sanitize the kids and the dog and cat too. And they place the vaccine cards thinking they are cool while the people with the money think they are fool. Opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world. He was hiding this narrative they were pushing. We could see they're lying, but when the people rose to call them out, they ridiculed us all and said it flat out. So we followed the money, we found the root cause to the same usual suspects who started it all. We're born into money and born into greed. These lizards are psychos with fucked up beliefs. Opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to change this world. Let's make it stop. Does it make you think? Are you a zombie that took that Kool-Aid drink? When you realize before you, you can't unsee the bullshittery that plays upon you. Opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to change this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to steal this world, opportunity to take control, opportunity to make some noise, opportunity to take it all, opportunity to change this world.
Watch the world become divided, confused, undecided, chaos and grief, and a lack of belief. Funding Black Lives Matter and racial colorblind, while LGBTQ programmed in their minds, they stole the rainbow from our skies and bastardized this world from one point of view. Us against them, will divide and rule. Order out of chaos.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The last free Kiwi. Thanks heaps for coming on, buddy.
Cheers, brother.
Gone off the rails to me.
Well,
Like I still
Hang on.
can't-
Stop that. Thing started talking to me. That back on. All right, cool. No worries, man. Look, stick around backstage for a sec. I'll have a bit of a yarn. I'm just going to wind this up. So thanks heaps for
Sweet,
coming on, and we'll have to get you on again.
Yeah, bro. Love to.
No worries, mate. See ya. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you've enjoyed the first show back in in 3 weeks. There was a question earlier. Obviously, people were thinking that I was going to just duck out at that point, not realizing there was 2 parts to this show. So I hope you've enjoyed the 2 parts. Will we see you Sunday, Batty? Yes, you will. 11 o'clock. And we have another amazing musician of the Townsville Variety. I'm just going to quickly go back and check my message, make sure I get the name right, because a couple of drinks may have transpired recently. It's just the way we roll here, particularly here in Townsville. Lyrical Criminal. Yeah. Lyrical Criminal, who has an amazing song about Townsville. And the clip was shot by a good friend of mine, Arik, as well. It's just a wonderful twist of fate. And, did either of these people tell me about it? No, I heard about it from another friend who heard about it from a lady in a taxi. The way the world works, it's funny. But as soon as I found the song, I'm like, hey, shit, I know the guy who did this song. Well, not the guy who did the song, but the guy who did the film clip. So I found him. It's been a long time coming. Old mate assures me that we're good at this particular juncture in time. So we should see him 11 o'clock Queensland time, that is, or East Coast time, until the fucking stupid daylight saving shit kicks in again. We will be doing that show Sunday. So do please tune in to check these things live and ask you random questions. It is going to be another random podcast. How much of a conversation we've had? Maybe about 5 minutes at best. So we're about to find out what we're going to conjure up. It's going to be fly by the seat of our pants, just like I usually do, and it always seems to work. So you can't argue with those kind of results now, can you? So thanks heaps for sticking around, and man, it's good to see so many people were straight onto it as soon, after 3-week vacation. You start to wonder, have I become old? Have people forgotten me? All you wonderful people turned up today and didn't forget. So that's wonderful to see. Until Sunday, you guys have a great one. And don't forget, sips.